but you keep using the word, you're not making excuses for them. What you are doing is compiling reasons and excuses together, and they are separate. And I don't believe that it is unfair to discuss the reasons separate from the excuses. The fact that there were holes that opened up in the earth to swallow us, to not discuss them because niggas is lazy. No, I'm not gonna do that. There are reasons. There are reasons for the compound abject failure of the black community because people sat up in think tanks and designed these reasons. I did not use the reasons as excuses. Tommy didn't. But for him to say that he has a friend who may be misled because his mama is hoeing.
Oh, Jesus.
To say that that's not a reason and that if given, if given, this is the thing that kills me about us is that you're almost on the other end of the spectrum guilty of what most Republicans do. Republicans are absolutely 100%, in my opinion, right about a great much of what they say in a vacuum. If it was not for abject racism, if it was not for covert racism, if it was not for, and let's be clear about what racism is. Racism isn't yelling nigga from a moving car. Racism is when one group of people decides to keep opportunities and resources from another group of people based upon race. Black people should exercise it more. We do not. When you look at racism like that, and you factor in the fact that racism has outlived its usefulness. It's not even, when I used to say this, bro, go over to YouTube and look up Zoe Williams, Jeff Brown. Me and Zoe been saying this shit since the foxhole, since Jamie Foxx's foxhole, 2008-9. When the white man figures out that, and I have permission, oh, that's right, as much as our pain cuss, I can say this. When the white man figures out he been fucked over just a little bit less than the black man, there's going to be smoke in every city. And that's what January 6th was. It was a Caucasian tantrum to figuring out that this system no longer needs regular people. This is an attack on regular people. If you got a regular job and regular ambitions, God bless your regular ass.
All right. Before you go further, though, Uncle Jeff, let's tie this to the title of this show about systematic racism. Is it over, and are we just being victims?
Is systematic?
Well, I know it's not over. Where do you think? Where do you think we are, based on what you just said and other things? Where do you think we are with systematic racism today in the world?
I think that systemic racism has played its. Anybody here play spades?
Yeah.
We in the last 4 cards. In the last 4 cards, you're gonna see somebody that held on to that ace too long get cut by one of them jokers. That's where we at now. This whole systemic racism is not your chief problem. Okay. What your chief problem is if you have a title, the longer your title, the more in jeopardy you are. Plumber, electrician, mechanic, carpenter, writer. Those people always gonna be good. If you are the executive assistant to the director of oh my God. This is what Donald Trump is axing right now. Yeah. Okay, so where we are now, here's where we are now. All them niggas you don't like, all them niggas our Payne talking about, all them niggas Coach Ferg talking about, are about to be dropped in Donald Trump's French fry grease. If you cannot, I have said this and I stand on it. I just got through eviscerating somebody on Facebook about this. I am so happy DEI is being destroyed. I could not be more thrilled that Black education and Black history is being taken out of schools, because you don't have no business with your oppressor teaching your kids any fucking way. I am so glad that all of this shit is happening to Black people. I could not be happier that systems are crashing, because you know what it's going to do? It's going to serve two purposes. The niggas we don't need will fry, and the niggas who will work together have no choice. And that is the only way, because of what has been done in this 4th century social experiment to the Black mind. That is the only way that niggas is going to work together, is when they're cornered. And now that we are slowly being cornered, only the valuable ones of us will exist, because nothing else is going to work. Ain't nothing. You're going to have to commune. You're going to have to make some sense with your baby daddy. You're going to have to make some sense with your baby mama. You're going to have to move in with your sister. You're going to have to move in with your brother. And those of you who move together with no plan will fry together.
All right. But okay, that's cool. Before we go further, though, and that was great. Ms. Jenny, you have anything to add to the top of what we just said?
Yes.
I know you're following Uncle Jeff over here, but that's okay. Go ahead. You can do it.
It ain't that hard. Smoke better weed. It's easier.
I think when it comes to the concept of systemic racism, I think that it's been completely flipped. And I think that now the system very much is in favor of Black people, and it disadvantages white people. And we're in a prime opportunity to get ahead and to further ourselves. But, so many of us are still focused on the past and looking in the past, that we're going to miss this opportunity, because the pendulum always swings. And so right now the pendulum has swung to where Black people are in a position of great advantage. And so systemic racism will always be around, because there will always be people who are disadvantaged, but it's just no longer in the disadvantage of Black people. So I feel like that's what a lot of people are missing.
Okay, tell us what the advantages you see. You got to expand on the advantage that you see for Black people.
So when it comes to being Black, being Black is fashionable right now. So someone like Jasmine Crockett, she would never have been able to be a part of Congress, 50 years ago, or even maybe 20 years ago. But these initiatives, and they're not even just DEI or affirmative action, it's just the culture has changed. And so people are willing to vote for people like that, people like AOC, people like Cori Bush, these people who, in my opinion, are woefully unqualified, but they fit the right skin color. And so they're going to get voted in, and they're going to get put in positions of power, not because of the system as, the government or, the powers that be, but just because the average person's mind has changed on these topics. And so, any Black person who, even has enough sense to, want to better themselves, they can move in any avenue. They could be an athlete, they could be a politician, they could be a great speaker. It's all for the taking. And so in all different avenues, you find Black people or people of color, I think that's such a ridiculous term, excelling. And so what else do you find? You find that, white people and even Asians are being, held back in certain areas, by the government, but also by culture, like people say nigga, and I don't see anything wrong with that term. I have a white friend and she uses that term. And I remember one time we were all hanging out, me, her, and another one of my friends, a Black lady. And my white friend, she said it around her. And she was like, aren't you going to check your friend? And I'm like, no, I can't do that. And
that's
so,
unusual.
People, that's just something that, she, or the white woman, is seeing that she can't do. But, I don't care. I'm going to say what I want. So, it's just that, the tide has turned.
Until you get around a race that tell you what you can't say, and then you'll abide by that.
Well, who's telling me what I can and can't say?
If you go to a Mexican, you call them a wetback, it's going to be some issues. If you go to an Italian, I forget what their slur is, and you say that, there's going to be an issue. And they do call each other that. Because we tend to seem to think we're the only ones that do that.
Well, on a grand scale, you know, hi Lionel. On a grand scale, we are the primary ones that do it. You know, when it comes to calling a Hispanic a wetback, I mean, I don't think that if you said the term wetback in a song, it would get censored on the radio. Now, I could be totally wrong. I don't listen to the radio. But I'm just assuming that that's not the case. But we have examples of this from the past. You know, the term Yankee was a pejorative for the early Americans. And, you know, hundreds of years later, it's now a colloquial term just for, you know, everybody, you know, Americans or, you know, people from the North. And so what
you do understand on YouTube, we have to say small hat for a reason, right?
Yes, I do.
And the actual term ain't even a
slur. It's not even a slur.
Right. But before we go down, hold on. Before we go too far down that path, I don't want to go down there because we can stay there all day. Right? Ekene, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
How you feel, man? You know,
I'm feeling wonderful.
Well, since you're here, I know, Alexis, you had your hand up. You had something to say on this topic real quick?
You got to take his word for it. That's Ekene. How is your dark ass sitting in the dark?
He's in the car.
I'm driving to go. My wife, you know, when your wife sends you a task, you got to go do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I gotta eat tonight, brother.
I thought you were the alpha male. I thought she's supposed to have it.
You see, you gotta be an alpha. You gotta be an alpha male and also apply wisdom to it. You can't be fighting a woman all the time. You gotta still tell you the boss, but you gotta still do certain things in the house. If not, you don't want your wife to die, right?
Alexis, yeah, something real quick, and then you can go on the top. You said you had
No, I was just waving to Ikene. That's all. I was just saying.
Right. Go ahead, Ikene. What you have on the top? We're talking about systemic racism, and how
is it because of Joy Reid or just everything in general?
Just everything in general.
We'll get to that part. But
Joy Reid is hot, by the way. I got a thing for that chocolate sister.
Okay,
yeah. Before we get to the chocolate sister from Congo, let me say one thing about the racism. Racism exists. White people are racist by violence. Black people are the most racist people on earth by psychology. So the Arabs are very racist themselves too. Everybody in this world, the Chinese are racist. Everybody's racist, including me. I'm a nationalist and I'm a black racist guy. I'll tell you that because I want black people to win any day, anytime. I don't apologize about it, and I don't want to apologize about it because guess what? I don't give a damn if Elon Musk is racist. I prefer a white guy to be racist so that we black people can start doing our own shit. We can't be cuddled all the time. When we know that people are racist, then we start doing things the right way, which means we start owning our own things. You see, we start owning our own media. We start owning our own shoes. We start owning our own defense industries. We start owning our own construction company. We start owning everything. We start owning our own tech company. We start owning our own manufacturing. Whatever the white man owns, we can own it because guess what? We invented most of the things that they own. We cannot be playing victims. I hate it. I've always hated it. When I came to the United States, I hated the fact that white people own 95% of all the employable companies in this country. It pisses me off every day. It makes me mad every day. I graduated as a mechanical and aerospace engineer, and guess what? From that day, I opened a transportation company, and I own the transportation company. And in Nigeria right now, I own a couple of companies. I own a clothing line. I am working on having a tech company to build things that I won't say on this online, because I want our people to own their own stuff. We can't complain anymore. I love Trump administration because he puts it in a black man's ass. Go get your own shit.
There you go. Hey, before you go any further, because you used a key word, and that key word is something we're going to talk about next. as black folks, do we overplay the victimization card? Anybody want to go?
We do too much. So somebody else can go. We do a lot.
No, you're on a roll. You can go ahead and go first. What do you think?
Can't say a we because you ain't part of that we.
No. I'm part of. When you talk about, I told you I'm racist, right? And I'm black, and I'm Pan African. I'm black. Anything that have to do with a black man in America, in Nigeria, I don't give a damn. I'm black to the core. You see what I'm saying? When an African American tells me, "Oh, you Nigeria," I'm like, I don't care. I'm black America. I'm black Nigeria. I'm black everywhere in Australia, everywhere. If something is happening to a black person, guess what? I'm talking. But
he black when them lights come on behind him.
You're right about that because when they start doing shit, they don't care about where I'm from. They just look at my skin. So what I'm trying to say is, so black people play too much victimization. We like to be victimized for the things that we're not supposed to be victimized for. And I see it as a form of laziness. You see, I see it as a form of laziness. We instead of us to hold ourselves accountable, we want to hold somebody else. But the thing is, according to your question, we overplay it. We overplay the victimization. And that is what I said earlier. It makes me mad. It makes me pissed off. Just like in Nigeria today. You go to Nigeria, they want to blame everything on colonization. You come to America, they want to blame everything on what do they call it? On slavery. And I'm like, man, no black American that is alive today that experienced slavery. None. Not even a single one.
Before I'm gonna cut you off just a little bit because I got your point, but Mr. Bennett said he might have to cut out early. So, Mr. Bennett, is that still true? Because I want you to get your last list.
Well, I don't think that's the right question, whether or not victimization card. As I said earlier in the show, we played the victimization card. The issue is not so much to acknowledge that you've been a victim. The issue is, what do you do about it? Again, if you want to stay in your victimization and just complain without action, then that's where the problem is. But there's nothing wrong with saying that, yes, that we have been victimized. Okay, now again, what are we going to do about it? I'm sorry.
We have, you're right about us being a victim at some point or another. But that's my answer to your question. I'm intentionally countering it that way. Are we still overusing it now?
No, I don't think it's overused when there's inaction. When there's no action, then it becomes overused, because that becomes the crutch that you're on. But as Tommy B started out the show with, I do not believe that the majority of black people in this country are just saying, I'm just going to sit on my butt and just be a victim. That's not how most people are moving. And so, if you want to go to certain pockets in Black America that's doing that, I'm not going to make that the whole. Black men, again, most black men are in the middle class. Most black men are not in prison. They're not in jail. They're working and making middle class income. So again, we're not. So again, this idea that that Black America is not is not functioning. I just don't believe that.
Well, okay. So let me just go ahead, Tommy. Go ahead, Tommy. I'll say what I got to say.
All right,
how far down am I?
I wanna explain my comment earlier, and he literally, out of his mouth, explained why I said what I said. Your first mistake was we blame everything on slavery. That's why I said you ain't us, because there's a lot of shit that happened after slavery.
Woo!
Period, point blank. And guess what? I was raised by a person that went through that shit. So when y'all come over here and call us lazy,
thank you.
First of all, the people that you're calling lazy fought for the rights that you're over taking advantage of. Meanwhile, you left your country where you say people making excuses for. Why you didn't fix that shit over there?
Are you talking to me?
You.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure so that I can respond later.
Okay. We got Reconstruction. We got Jim Crow. The CIA is one of the most powerful organizations in America, and they were sent to attack our people. Not you, our people. There are whole countries that can't fight the CIA, and that's who was sick on our people. And see, I'm from California, so we didn't really deal with too many like the African immigrants and stuff. But like conversations like this is now I see why when I see people online, they have this vitriol towards people like you with your opinions, because it's hella shallow to say we blame everything. Again, I started off the show saying, does anybody know anybody that's sitting on their couch scratching their balls going, oh my God, the man? No. But we have these conversations as is. That's the life of a whole bunch of fucking black people out here. Just because we speak on what's happened doesn't mean we're sitting at home doing nothing to advance our life. Black people actually are in a much better place than they were years ago. And you can look that up statistically while you're calling us lazy and taking advantage of the shit that we fought for. So, like, I don't mean to get, like, overly passionate, but that shit gets irritating as fuck. Because,
yes, it does.
Your grandmother didn't give you the stories that I got. Your great-grandmother, who I was raised by, my great-grandmother, didn't give you the stories that we came from. So you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, but you got a full opinion on what we've been through and why we act the way that we act. Like, a lot of y'all need to humble yourselves and find out what you're talking about before you speak on what we're talking about. Because that was hella disrespectful to jump all the way back to slavery. It's deeper than just slavery. That ain't the only thing that was done to black people in this country. And the shit that you said we should do, we've done. And they took it out. Go read history. We've done that before. We've come together, we've built shit, we built towns, and they took it all out. That's 100% facts. Not just one place, multiple places. We started off the show talking about that. From the West Coast to the South to the East Coast. There's lakes you might have fished on where our people on the bottom of, because they drowned that shit out. Because we did exactly what you said we should do. So a lot of y'all need to chill and go read a book before you get to speaking on what we went through.
I gotta respond to that guy real quick. Number one, let me give you response real quick. One thing I don't like is a man that speaks with emotion instead of listening, because when I was talking, you were walking around, you didn't even hear any single thing that I said, because everything you just spoke right now is contrary to everything that I said.
No, it isn't.
Actually, I spoke to the affirmation of what you said. And you've never I think you're hearing me for the first time in this channel, because if you know me, you know that everything you said doesn't make any sense, because it's not part of me. I'm married to an African American woman. Just know that for a fact. My daughter is half Nigerian, half African American. I want to let that sink into you, okay?
Tommy. I got
black friends.
No, that's fine, Jeff, because I know how you speak, Jeff. You and I have been in this channel for a long time. But let me say this, right? I said clearly that I am as racist as you can talk about. I say to white people's face, I'm not scared of them. In Nigerian, people can talk about African Americans. I defend African Americans any day, anytime, just like I would defend Nigeria in front of anybody else. That's who I am.
That ain't his problem.
So I don't tolerate anybody talking about black people. I don't care where you come from. You do not speak. Let me finish, Jeff. You can be pro African American and pro black, no matter which country you are. I'm not pro Nigerian only. I'm pro black American and pro black Nigerian. So that might be a problem to you, but that's the hat that I wear, and I'm proud of that hat. So let me say this to you, brother, because a few minutes ago I said that almost 95% of the things that black people and white people own in this country were created by African Americans. That's what I said. So I have no idea where you're getting whatever you just said right now that doesn't make any sense and wasn't even exactly what I said. You got to listen before you talk. You don't just talk because... You don't just talk.
Now you're being disrespectful. You're not making
No, he disrespected me first.
No, he did not.
Mr. Jeff, do you want me to talk or do you want me to stop?
Because I want you to stop. I want you to stop.
Because you and I have never had issue before. So let's respect ourselves, okay? You and I have never had issue, Mr. Jeff. No, Mr. Jeff, you got to hold on.
How far down?
Just land the plane.
Go ahead and talk. I've landed the plane. I don't like to be interrupted. So if I get interrupted, I stop.
No, you're only being interrupted because again, and now I'm going to make a sweeping generalization.
Don't make it too long because I want Mr. Bennett to get the last word before he leaves.
My sweet dick, I'll go as fast as I can.
Okay.
This is the problem in a sweeping generalization that black people in America have with Nigerians. Sweeping generalizations and then amnesia. I could have swore maybe me and Tommy have the same fucked up internet connection, but I do believe I heard you say something about blacks being lazy and no one here being a victim of racism. If not, I have a robin's egg sized tumor in my frontal fucking lobe. But that is exactly what I heard you say. I then heard you backpedal from it. It's profound rubber stamp ignorance. And I don't have a problem with the fact that you have an African American wife. You gonna sell me who the finest sister is on earth? No, you're not. I don't have a problem with the fact that you are proud to be a Nigerian and that you speak up for black people. My problem is whenever I do it on stage, I talk about it on stage. Nigerians kill me with black people are lazy. There is no one here who has suffered from slavery. That is the first. I think it's disingenuous. It is insulting. And yes, Ekene, maybe it is your memory, but we have had this very conversation that it is unfair for you to come from a place to separate 4 centuries from now. I will say this and land the plane. Here's the irony. You're saying this while driving a car. If you're driving that car on an interstate that runs either north, south, east, or west, guess where those interstates were paved? Through black homes and businesses. Mm-hmm. Every fucking one of them. Mm-hmm. So, and that was not done during slavery because if my memory serves me correctly, there were no cars. So please, pretty please with sugar on top. Other than the dope ass clip I'm gonna make out of this, let's stop. Especially dear Nigerians on the planet. You are full of shit of the first order when you go back to that same Republican talking point about blacks and racism. Knock it the hell no, knock it the fuck off. I'm done.
I gotta ask a quick question, Mr. Penn. Excuse me, my lady. I want to ask all of you a question right here. Can any of you raise your hand and to indicate that I use the word black people lazy? Please raise your hand if I did that. Please. No.
A lot of people heard it, man. So listen, okay, I
saw 3 to 4 people raising their hands. So that
I didn't raise mine because it doesn't matter. I didn't raise my hand. It doesn't matter. We whoever said it, some people heard it. Let's just move on past it, man. You know, we can't just keep going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, rewind it yourself, bro. Go back 10 minutes in the show and listen.
Right. So
make a clip out of it because he also said you brought up slavery, saying that we could that was an excuse, and that's why my brother Tommy, maybe us 3 in this row, just heard everything different because I heard everything that was said too. Like, no, you brought up slavery. Yes, that was very disingenuous.
Yes, I brought slavery up, but I didn't say the word lazy in this conversation. I brought slavery up.
Hold on, before we go through that, hey, Ekene, it's cool, man. You know what? None of this shit is a death blow, man. We just hear what they say. We just move on, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, some people heard it and just take it for heart, man. That's all. Mr. Ben, you got anything? Because I want to make sure.
Yeah, I need to go. First of all, again, good conversation tonight. Good to see you again, Miss Jenny. Great seeing you again. Hope everything's well with you and your family and whatnot. The only thing I want to just push back on a little bit is, and again, I don't know if we need to have a further conversation on this. I keep hearing this thing about qualifications. and there was a comment made about some senators or some Congress people who were the most unqualified. I'm just saying we kind of use this word kind of loosely. If I recall, the president tried to put someone for attorney general who even by his own Congress was found to be doing some illicit things with underage women. But this person was put up as a person for attorney general. So again, I think that some of these, we automatically go to this unqualified. The fact of the matter is these people were duly elected officials from the districts that they represent. So, when we talk about this idea of qualified or unqualified, it seems to be very loaded to me. And if we're going to be talking about whether it be racism or DEI or CRT or whatever it is, I think we oftentimes get caught into this trap also. Because, again, a person may not agree with your ideology, then that somehow makes them unqualified. So I just want to, again, make a comment on that. But I think this is too much in these conversations. We don't go, we throw that word around, and I just think it's sloppy when we do so. But that's really all I had to say on that. But again, continue the conversation.
We might have to. Yeah,
I would think so. I know, in our opinion, I know you've done shows certainly on DEI and whatnot, and whatnot. Certainly, I would like to certainly continue that conversation as well. Yeah. But I think some of these things we like to throw at people, saying that they're unqualified. Based on the Constitution, they're qualified for it, and I just don't understand why we need to go to that just because someone we don't agree with their ideology. So. That's all I want to. That's all I want to comment on that. But
you're gonna miss the Joy Reid thing because that's my next thing.
Okay. All right, guys. All right, you guys have a good one.
All right. Hey, man. Thanks for coming up, man. All right. So next question on the docket here, man. General thoughts on the Joy Reid firing situation? Or she's not fired. She just her show. She just lost her show. I think she's just gonna leave the network. Any thoughts? Who wants to go first on that one? And that's is it racism? Or is it her time was all business because her ratings were poor?
It was
a combination of both. I don't know. Anybody, go ahead.
I would say it was completely justified that she lost her position because she's an idiot and she's vehemently racist. And so it was a long time coming that her show needed to be canceled. And I think that this is just a step in the right direction from MSNBC, trying to move to a more centrist position and away from the far left that they've been going to for at least the past 8 years. So good to see it.
Hey, Joshua Jones, come on up, man. Be on camera. Come on up. Who's next?
I don't frequent MSNBC because I just think it's trash TV altogether. But under your guys, I guess most of Fox News should be off the air. I mean, under your guys' with qualifications or whatever. But MSNBC has been trashing me for a minute. The moment that and I'm not a Trump guy, but when Trump was elected the first time and I saw just blatant lies getting put out, it just put me off of MSNBC. So it is what it is.
You had anybody next?
I mean, it's unfortunate that, the sister lost her job. I don't feel any type of way about, her losing her job in a sense, but it's just unfortunate that she's in that position. But also look at the transformation of media. It's going to be highly unlikely that you can just sort of be highly critical with no solutions going forward, because I see that people are waking up, regardless of how some people may look at it like, oh, I'm so far behind, or some people looking at it like, hey, to move forward, you have to deal with the reality. But, I'm going to say this, and I've been saying this for a few little weeks now, like, the days of the feminist mindset are over. Those days are over. People are going to try to hold on to it, but a lot of those people that do, especially, us lower middle class, they're going to be subjugated to a lot of heartbreak. So get out of that mindset. Take advantage, break away from the people that you know right now. Shit, get away from them and then figure it out. So it's a different day, So social media is news now. Shit pass around through here before the news really get it. 36 days, 36 hours. It's been on 15 shows. So it's about being real with yourself and moving accordingly. Other than that, don't be mad after 20 years when you still standing in the same shoes. So it's on you, Ed. So.
I took the liberty, Ekene, I'm gonna help you with your amnesia. I took the liberty of bringing up. Don't say it. Okay, it ain't my show. If you don't want me to talk about it, then I won't talk about it. I'll just cut it in my own clip. Let me know.
No, I believe you. I mean, are we going to go back there to what Ekene said? Or
I think it's the most valid point we're gonna make tonight. If you want to make some real points, we need to get somewhere because we are not making this shit up about Nigeria.
Let him talk. That would be good. Let Mr. Jeff play the audio.
Please.
Good.
I took the liberty, and I can bring it. I have the clip. I stopped I went and brought up a tab of this show right now and went right back to what I thought. So let's be clear. Ekene, are you telling me that you did not say anything? You did not
Mr. Jeff, please play the audio. I'm trying to
ask the question.
No. I'm not going to answer the question. Play the audio, please. And let everybody listen to it.
I gotta be sure. Okay.
No, play the audio.
If you don't mind, we a couple of grown ass men. Can I do this the way I want to? Okay. I want to make sure that I am not, I like being succinct and correct.
And I'm at liberty not to answer your question. And
you sure are. You most certainly are, but you might want to let me ask it. Are you saying, and I will take your silence as a yes, brother, but I'm going to say this unless the creator strike my monkey ass dead now. Did you or did you not say that there are no black people alive today who experienced slavery? I will take that as a yes, you said that. And now we can roll this beautiful bean footage. Okay, share screen. YouTube, pop out. There we go. Here go the screen right here. Let me know when y'all want to. When y'all, you got it up there. There you go. Now here. I'm gonna press play, and y'all tell me what y'all heard.
No black American that is alive today that experienced slavery. None.
There is some ventriloquist, or there must be some alternate reality.
This is the highest level of disingenuous that I've ever seen, because this is not what we talked about. That's why I wanted you to play
this. You either said it or you didn't, bro.
Sir, let me tell you this. You are very disingenuous, because you said that I call black people lazy. That's what you said. You said I use it verbally. That I call black people lazy. So I want you to keep going. Keep going. I want to hear that word. That blacks are lazy. I want to hear it.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't hear it and repeating it. Hear it the first time you said it.
Not even a single one.
Before I'm gonna cut you off just a little bit because I got your point, but Mr. Bennett said he might have to cut out early. So, Mr. Bennett, is that still true? I want you to get your last hits.
Oh,
you gotta start. Okay. You just gotta start over.
Yeah. Okay. No, but forgive my editing. I tell you what, because I have to listen to both of you because I have to drop down entirely to do this faster. So, Ekene, and I invite you to respond. I'm gonna do a show next week called Giraffe Balls, where I get high as giraffe balls and talk to young brothers about whatever.
I won't be there because I got to tell you something.
Oh, brother. You'll be there. You might not be there in person, but you'll definitely be there.
That's fine. When people quote me right, okay? Because I had a guy came up here and said what I didn't say and say every stupidity out of his mouth, and you backed him up. So you either play it verbally or you just stop it, brother.
Okay.
Stop it.
All right.
The reason why I said stop. No, Mr. Payne. I got to tell you. Let me speak, Mr. Payne, please. One thing that I don't like is this, right? Is people to present me, because as this lady with cup in her mouth was backing Mr. Jeff up. And one thing I don't like is this. I have never disrespected Mr. Jeff. I loved this man and I speak with him in different. No, I'm coming, sir. Because one thing that I know, I find out here is this, right? Some people just don't love to be respected. They just don't like to be respected. And that's fine. I will never disrespect an elderly man, no matter how low you go. I will not disrespect you because I was never raised like that. Okay, but this is what I'm going to but let me finish. Let me finish, sir, please. Can I still talk? I let you talk, right? So the thing is this. When people quote me, I want you to quote me based on what I said. Don't insinuate. Don't say that what I said was an insinuation. No, please quote me by what I said. And when I said that Africans always want to play the game of colonization. That's what I said. And I said,
you didn't say nothing about
slavery. Let me finish, please, sir. Sir, can you stop taking words away from my mouth and just respect yourself?
I thought you said you didn't say nothing about slavery.
And then I said in the same sentence that black people in America like to play also the slavery thing, just like Africans play the colonization. I said both of them, but not once did I say that either Africans or African Americans are lazy. I didn't say that because in the same sentence, I said that African Americans invented 95% of what white people take advantage of today. Why can't we go and take what they take from us? And let's not complain about them. Let's go to them. Let's go to them and grab it. That's what I said. I'm pushing that we should go do it. We should go take it from them. So I don't want to stay here.
We all heard you again. We're gonna squash this. I'm not going back over this thing no more.
Okay, so Mr. Payne, can I respond to the last sentence that you asked about Joy Reid? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead. Hit the Joy Reid.
Okay, the Joy Reid is this, right? I got to say one thing about Joy Reid. Joy Reid is an excellent journalist. If she had used her initial talent well. But at the same vein, Joy Reid made racism something that people can just discuss about. People can use anyhow. Before Joy Reid, racism on the television was censored. But she came on television and everything to her was, if you go against her, you're racist. If anything happens to anybody, she brought racism and she make it just the same way Trump has made so many things to become like nothing. Joy Reid made racism like not, it doesn't have the weight it's supposed to have. She is a good journalist, but she destroyed a lot of things. I don't really feel sorry for her because she is a feminist to the core. I don't really see her defend black men until something bad happens. She don't really promote things about black people. She's always on the negative side. I've never seen her discuss positive news. And that's one of the reasons why I left MSNBC and stopped listening to MSNBC solely because of Joy Reid. Right. She has a great talent, but she didn't make use of it.
I got you. Hey, Joshua, how you doing, man? We haven't seen you up here in a while, man. What's going on?
How's it going? I was surprised to see Uncle Jeff. I haven't seen you in months, sir. You doing good?
I don't know if he hear you. Are you frozen, Jeff? I don't know. You look like you're frozen.
Can you not hear me?
I think he looks frozen. He looks frozen over there.
Yeah, he must have cammed down to try to make the clip again.
Yeah, he might. Hey, so listen. So, Johnson, you came up and you missed a lot. But we're on Joy Reid. I think you said you might want to talk about that. What do you got? What do you got to say?
I'm still at the problem of the reason why this is, I guess, contentious. I think it's contentious is because we want to lay claim that racism shouldn't exist. I claim absolutely it should exist. You can't have an opinion.
Before you go further, who lays claim that it shouldn't exist?
Well, then what are we arguing about?
No. Well, no, but your assertion that anybody said it shouldn't exist. The question is, does it still exist or not?
Yes.
Now, okay. Yes. So from that standpoint, are you going to talk about Joy Reid or are you going to talk about the racism part? Go ahead, finish.
Racism part in itself.
Okay, go ahead.
So basically, just racism is the discrimination based on skin tone specifically. So you got sexism. That would be based off of sex, right? And then you got racism would be based off of skin tone. We treat people differently all the damn time based on groups. The question is when it should not be in play. So we don't want the government to basically hold policies where like one skin tone can do a thing that another skin tone can't do, right? Same concept we'd have with sex. We generally don't like the idea of a law stating that way. But at the end of the day, we individually are going to almost nearly always, we're going to select our own group over another group. So what would be the issue? Why can't everybody on panel say, I want to promote my culture. I want me over them. We're all doing it one way or the other.
Can I answer that?
Yes, please.
Okay. No, I want to make sure I got the green light from everybody.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. Your question was, why can't we all say that we want to promote our group over the other group? Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very faceted question. Number one, if you're going to, for you to use the word we, it's a bit rich, because that is exactly what your people, what the European white man, what people who believe in putting raisins in potato salad have done all over the globe for centuries.
Yeah.
Okay. So you gonna have to be a little bit more specific with we. Now,
well, I just said we as in everybody.
No. Okay. Well, then we know that's the problem, because the truth is, as a whole and as a byproduct of what I just said, the rest of the we on this panel and our people have yet to put our people first. Because if we did, the NFL wouldn't exist. Do you think if the NFL was 85% Armenian, do you think the Chinese would own it?
Probably.
Yeah. This again, brother Joshua. This is what happens when it is, and I won't say I feel sorry for, but it is regular white people like your regular ass that is not invited to the party of the power elite that is done with regular people. This regular people are on fire, not just black people. Racism served a purpose in the Industrial Revolution. It's on autopilot now. Right. Because we don't need people. We don't need regular people. That was the trick the power elite played mostly on your people, the regular Caucasian people. We gonna tell you, I almost done answering your question. We gonna tell you
with the regular people.
Can let them finish, man.
I'll help you when I'm done.
Okay.
We gonna take regular white people, those who do not own land, those who do not have money, those who do not have a European blue bloodline, those who did not engage in on a grand scale the inbreeding that makes blue eyes, the regular white people. We're gonna tell them they're a little bit better than the black people. There was no such thing as white and black before the before the 16th century. White folks, Europeans was just killing each other. But once they figured out that they could separate us in this way, they made regular old buy half a house in the suburbs, I'm a cop, I'm a whatever, white people. They put them to do their dirty work, you not understanding that back then they saw now that there would be a time where they did not need you, and that time is now. So now, regular white people that's crying because they losing their jobs, white people that's outside, white people, specifically white women, who have always been the number one recipient of welfare food stamps, and DEI, those people, they don't have a use for. So now they treating you like they treated black people. Those are the regular people, and I hope I'm clear. What else did you need?
I'm not so clear on the concept of who the regular people are, right?
You. Do you own any plaid?
Plaid?
PLAID. Do you own any?
Yes.
Then your ass is regular. And the power elite has nothing to do with you. Donald Trump hates you. He hates his base, but they don't get it yet.
Oh, I don't particularly care what Trump likes.
I didn't ask about your concern, brother. I'm trying to make it plain
because you don't know who regular people are. Jeff, let me ask you a question. And it's part of what you're saying is that we've elevated past racism now because white people are just regular everybody. We're talking about classism now.
Yes.
That's where we are.
This is racism. Racism was necessary in the Industrial Revolution during cow, pig, chicken, nigger. And by the way, we need to back up to the term nigger and understand that anybody who says that it's derogatory is working in profound ignorance. That word is as old as language itself. And everywhere you look it up, before the blip in time that 500 years is, it means God, ruler, or exalted one. That's why you can't get away from it. And all of you who cringe from it and use the N-word, nigga, please. And number two, I get to tell Joshua that you don't get to say it because it's my word. It carries a pain. It carries a sense, a particular sense of genocide, oppression, and pain that people who look like him put on it, so he don't get to say it. There's certain shit that I get to say that you don't. I don't get to walk into Sister Alexa's house and walk right in her refrigerator and make a sandwich because I'm not in her family. I am a guest, as you are, Brother Joshua, and not enough black people make this distinction. When you come in here, one of these things is not like the other. So chew with your mouth closed. Don't tell my kids to shut up, and don't wipe your feet on the fucking rug.
Let me interject one something again. Josh, are you happy that you came up here?
Yeah.
You came up. Oh man, listen, I want to go back to go ahead, Alexis. You have something to say?
Real quick, yeah. The first time, no. The second time you come, oh yeah, you gotta go make your own sandwich. I'm gonna make it.
That's pretty much how it really is.
You know what it comes in the places.
All right, so listen, we're going back on the Joy Reid thing. I know Jenny went. She went. Anybody else have anything to say about that lady? Now, listen, I think the thing, I never really watched this show. I really thought she was disingenuous about a lot of things. And one thing that really stuck in my mind is when affirmative action was struck down. And part of her show, she said, I wouldn't be here on MSNBC if it wasn't for affirmative action. And I thought that was so disingenuous because before affirmative action was struck down, if I went to Joy Reid and said, the only reason why you got that job is because of affirmative action, she would have argued with me like I shot her. You know what I'm saying? That was so I said, you lying, scrag, whatever we want to call her. I mean, I couldn't believe she formed her mouth to say that. And I really took umbrage with her on that one, but there's a whole lot of other things. But nobody disliked her more than white people.
I got to comment on. Go ahead, brother.
I don't think I've met anybody in life that has said I got this job because of affirmative action, like ever.
Yeah, when I heard that, I said, holy shit. Anyway, yeah, I haven't. Nobody has it. Okay, what you gonna say, Akane?
Let me say this, right? I think affirmative action, one thing I don't like about it is this, right? White people are just as messy as they come. And I'll tell you why. Why I say this. I'm talking about the white elites. What Jeff was telling the other guy, Joshua, Jeff was spot on that stuff about white elite, how they use the elite use the younger, that's the middle class, against, and the poor white guys against everybody else. They step on them to step up. And they use those average white guys to do their dirt. And let me put this. I think somebody's playing something in the background. Let me put this together for you. There is a noise. I'm hearing my voice in the background. Does somebody have a YouTube on?
I think it might be just your connection. I don't hear anything. Anybody else hear anything?
No.
Okay, I think it was me. I said I have a YouTube on in the background. That's what was messing me up. Okay, I just removed it now. So what I'm trying to say is this, right? Joy Reid, a lot of people out there that are blacks that are working in white corporate are qualified or overqualified for their job. But use DEI to hire these people make them seem like qualified. That they are getting that job through affirmative action. Are they applying affirmative action to give them jobs? Yes, they are applying affirmative action. They're supposed to be there without affirmative action? Yes. Based on merit. White people will never hire black people based on merit in this country. That is why as soon as that white people will not hire black people based on merit. They will hire, I'm telling you as an engineer, I've seen a black engineer highly qualified with masters. And his boss is a white guy with no experience and no degree and no masters. He's the boss. If there is anybody that is being hired,
Ooh, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
And rightfully so.
Can you guys hear me?
And you were breaking up on yourself, but you went past a couple of things that I think we shouldn't go past. You said that no black person was hired merit.
I'm sorry, say one more time.
Did you say that no black people
were hired? Say one more time.
Did you say that?
That is not what I said. I said that white folks intentionally hire black folks in this country using affirmative action. That if they hire black people based on merit, guess what? A lot of black people will have jobs through merit system and not affirmative action, because most black people that have jobs are overqualified for the jobs that they have. But what they do, they hire white folks that have no qualification to be the boss of the black person with qualification. It is very common in engineering. Go to Lockheed Martin, go to Bell Helicopter, go to Raytheon. The white bosses there have no experience. They have no degree. These guys are supervising over people with degrees, with masters, with PhD. 70% of white folks in those jobs have no degree.
Okay, so
that's what I'm saying. That actually affirmative.
We got your point. I mean, you kind of we got to speak on points. We can't just keep having run-on sentence. You said a lot of stuff in a little bit that you talk. Okay, I don't agree with I don't agree with you. I'm still stuck on the fact that black people only got hired because of affirmative action by whites. I don't agree with that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Mr. Jeff, you're getting me wrong.
No, it's not Jeff, it's me. I'm saying that. Rich, up here on top of you, yeah. You said that. You insinuated that, you said that. And listen, if a white person has a job as a management or administrator, it's not just because it's a reflective of the black people that work for them. They got a whole bunch of people who might be more qualified than that person in the domain that you're talking about. Not just black people. So I'm just trying to say where you're getting at. So I just want to get where you're getting at on a race. We know that racism exists, but I don't believe, first of all, like just like my man Tommy said before he left, that I can't remember. I don't recall anybody as black person say I got hired because of affirmative action. Except Joy Reid.
I don't recall that. No, I don't. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying to back up what he said, that I don't recall black people being hired or based on affirmative action. But whenever they insinuate that, whenever they say that, oh, they hired a black guy based on affirmative action, they're making it to make the black guy's education look light. Whereas that black guy that was hired based on affirmative action wasn't hired based on affirmative action. They were hired because they were qualified to be at that job. But they use for affirmative action and DEI to cover themselves. Actually, white folks are the ones that are being hired based on affirmative action.
Yeah, okay. So I think maybe based on how we got something lost in
translation. So you misunderstood what I was saying.
Well, man, maybe it's the way you were saying it. But let's move.
Okay.
Anybody else? I mean, I hear you. I don't know, Ferg, you haven't said anything. Miss Jenny, you haven't said anything for a while. What you got?
Just go first, Ferg, or
you can go.
Oh, okay. Well, my point still stands because I think we're still on Joy Reid, but just overall, I think one big issue with the Black community is the fact that we see ourselves as Black people before anything else, which is something that white people don't do. They don't see themselves as white first. They see like other things about themselves, like if they're a part of some type of sport or if they're a part of a certain religion or what have you, they'll see that before their color. They're infamous for saying that, I don't see race. And that is a character trait of, serious people. I think that it's very unserious to see yourself primarily as something that you can't change, because then you see yourself as a victim of it. It's just like these astrology girls who say that, oh, I'm sorry that I'm always late and I can't keep time. It's because I'm a Gemini. And it's like, can you just take accountability for your actions? Can you try that for a change? And so I find that a lot of people, Black people that is, who see a lot of their identity in the fact that they're Black, that they also have an issue with taking accountability and being responsible for the things that happen to them. And they're like, well, I'm a victim because the CIA, has attacked the Black community, or because of, oh, they killed Malcolm X or they killed Martin Luther King Jr. and we can't have any decent leaders without getting assassinated. And, it's just a poor, pitiful, downtrodden Black person. And it's like, at the end of the day, we're all individuals and we have the choice and the ability to choose what we want to do and how we're going to live our lives. And so whether or not you're Black or anything else, they can't force you to take the drugs that they pump into the community. They can't force you to be a single mother. You have to choose those things. And if you don't choose those things, then you'll be just as fine as anybody. It doesn't matter what color you are. So that's where I stand on the situation overall.
Okay. Well, I got to give pushback real quick. Sister Ginny, I love you. We can say yes. Well, let me put it, because this is a statement that I make with me being such a pro-Black person. And again, I said it, just because I'm pro-Black doesn't mean I'm anti-white or that I hate white. It's easy to not focus in on color first when it has never been an issue. It has never been an issue for white folks to think about color first because they've always been first. So we didn't know that we was niggas until they came over and said, y'all niggas. So they inserted the color thing first. We weren't even thinking about it because where we were at, mostly everybody was the same color as us. So I think that's not I understand what you're saying and it makes sense. I can say that I can lead with color first in a sense, because I do like being Black and I love Black people. And I also will push to say that because for so long we were beaten down about us being Black and making it seem like us being Black was wrong, even from the dictionary, making it seem like being Black was just wrong, to where when we are finally in a situation to where I can explain and say that, hey, no, it's not that I'm wrong, but there's nothing wrong with me being who I am as far as just a Black person, as far as melanin and having curvy hips and my hair not being as straight as yours and all this other stuff. So I think a lot of people, which I would say my reasoning, and I would like to think a lot of people think in that sense that are pro-black, is not that we're thinking necessarily, oh, it has to be color first. But for so long, we couldn't even say nothing. We couldn't even be proud or any of that for being black. So I mean, I can see both sides. It can be and both. You don't have to be a victim, but we can also admit that there were things and still some things with us being black and our color that is making.
Okay, so Alexis, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward your thought today.
Yeah.
How about blacks today? Do we see ourselves as anything else other before we think about skin color? Or have we elevated past, for example, do we see ourselves as just Americans? In terms of everything that America has to offer, we've earned it. You know, so the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is ours to try to claim just like anybody else, including white folks. But do we see past our skin color in all of our situations, or not enough of our situations? Do you see what I'm saying? If we always identify as ourselves black as first, is that healthy?
And look, I would be 100%, and this is me just being this is me going into my black bag right now. You feel me? I don't give a damn about. Well, hold on. Let me go back real quick. Let me go to you real quick, Arpain. I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up and able to not think about being black first. I'm still trying to catch up to not think about being black first. But while I'm trying to catch up, I'm gonna think about all the other things like, oh, I can think of being black first and not be hateful. I can think of being black first and not have it as an excuse, as my eloquent uncle said earlier about having excuses and reasons. I can think of being black first and not use it as an excuse, not use it as a victim card or any of that.
Okay.
So I will say that much. I love being black all day, every day.
Yeah, but okay. So would you say my question, did you get anything out of my question and say that we should not be thankful and be blessed that we are black? I didn't want to insinuate that. I hope you didn't get that from what I said.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I just and I'm sorry if I came across in that way.
No, I just wanted to get that clear for there. Maybe you didn't. I'm glad. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No.
Hey, Ferg, you was waiting to say something, so I know you've been waiting. And then Joshua, if you had something else to say, come on.
It's an interesting conversation, man. It's when I look back, I'm a Gen Xer, man. I'm right in the middle of it, right? So I saw the birth of the technology age. I saw brothers and sisters living in the projects who didn't believe they lived in the projects. If we had a fight, 2 days later, we were all best of friends again. It wasn't this, my auntie had a bad life, so life is bad from this point on. When I came out of school, those that looked like me talked about me the most. They talked about me the most, and I embraced it because that was my family. I have brothers and sisters, so I embraced it. I love myself before everything. Before I love any of you ugly dudes, I love myself first.
Watch it.
But I'm saying that I'll be facetious sometimes, but I'm telling you, I've always embraced my color, my height, my everything about me. I've always embraced it, man. And when it came for me to compete, I didn't want to compete against a woman. Couldn't no one man handle me in my 20s. I wanted to compete against the world. And that's the message that I've always taught young men, even young women. Love yourself, treat others with respect, work hard in the process. Ain't that biblical? The Bible say work hard. And it ain't working hard for other people's, it's working hard for your own self-gratification. But that's the way I've always looked at it. That's the way my father and mother taught me. Just everywhere I've traveled, I never had problem with people that look like me. I never really had experienced racism. And I know y'all know about Jasper, Texas, right? I used to have to go get my vehicle registered there and would be in town and nobody even said nothing to me. But I knew I wasn't going to be out of pocket because I always respected people, places, and things. all of my travels, I've never really had bad experiences with people. And I've gone through some of the toughest neighborhoods, walked around, even some slip and slides. And today being the modern time, I would think that for us or anyone that's willing to better themselves, if you look at the past, you better say, I won't want to go back to the way I was treated by my family, because your family treats y'all worse than any damn body. So I don't see how you could be struggling with other people who ain't related to you. But you have to take advantage of the information and the technology today. Somebody, and I'll say, you 25 to 45, whatever it takes for you to get over your baby issues or your girlfriend or boyfriend issues, you must take advantage of it. If not, the America's saying you will be left behind. Those slackers, you're going to be left behind. So you better pick it up. That's all I got to say. Because this day of that free handout is over. Those days.
Right. Hey, Antoine, thanks for the super chat over here. Colonizers have always found ways to make themselves the exception to the rules and hold others accountable at the same time. Thanks for the $10. We appreciate it.
That was deep. That was deep.
All right, so who's next? Joshua, you have something to say on this topic? And I guess we're going round robin. We'll be back to you, Jeff.
No, I'm still a little confused as to what we may or may not have an agreement or a disagreement about. I really don't. That's where I'm stuck here. So, like, question, Miss Ginny, do you believe that society itself is considered a system by definition?
Yeah.
So then would systematic racism exist?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so then should it not exist?
No, I don't believe that racism should exist. I believe that biases should exist, but not based off of just the color of your skin.
Okay. Do you believe that people behave differently around different types of people?
Yes, they do.
So then wouldn't that be like discrimination of some way or some form or another? See, if I walk into one group of people, like I live in the middle of Asia right now, right? I don't walk out the door and use words like gook or something, right? Like they just get me beat up. We already lost a war to these people once, right? Like not again. But I mean, you get the point. It is behavioral difference. There's always going to be some type of discrimination that exists. I don't understand why there's a belief that it ought not be. We're all not equal. No two people that walk the face of the earth are equal. Why are we taking groups of people and claiming that they're equal?
Okay. Wow. Is that an open question? Because I would love
sure,
for
if you'd like to clarify it to me.
Sure. Let me clear it up for you real quick. Okay. Number one, you and this happens often with regular white people.
Mm-hmm.
You often take on the characteristics and the freedoms of the power elite that you don't have.
I don't know what you mean exactly.
Okay, well, I'm trying. I understand. Okay. I'll tell you what.
Just say it, brother Jeff. Just say it.
No. I'll be wow.
His plaid shirt is an example.
No, sis. Yeah, exactly. And I understand. Because I'm speaking plain English, and I understand where you may be a little unclear. But the truth is, my people taught your people to speak. So some of this might get past you. I get it.
Do you mean like English?
At all?
Oh, okay. So
period.
Yeah,
we taught you to stop picking your ass and eating what you find. We had running water. You look this up on your time. It's not my job to educate you. You look this up on your time. We had running water and high societies before the first white man ever took a shit over two shoes or looked out a window. That's the truth,
okay.
brother. Okay, so
help me understand what the expectation is, right? Okay, so let's say a couple 100,000 years ago, black people taught white people, wherever the first white people that popped up, right?
Yeah, whatever that shit is, yeah.
Yeah, wherever this happened, right?
Yeah.
200,000 years ago.
Egypt, Africa, the Nile Valley. That's where. Let me clear. No. You don't get to do that. You do not get to diminish history. Here's where it happened, not wherever. It happened in the Nile Valley, where the Greeks came and begged to study us.
Do you believe
there is no such thing as Greek architecture. There is no such thing as Greek mathematics or mythology. All of that comes from the Nile Valley. I strongly suggest you look up a man by the name. I'm talking. I strongly suggest.
I don't want you to pass that point. Go back one step.
No, brother. I'm gonna do it like I'm doing it, and you take it like you take it. And I don't care about that. That's another problem. Is that
you're moving forward, and I can't understand the past point. The past point, but you want to move past to the first point.
Because exactly. Do you know why? Do you know why
I don't understand the first point?
Let me help you out. It is not Black people's job to correct your history. It's not.
Okay, then by that concept, right? If there's no communication, if there's no back and forth, why should I care about your history?
I don't want you to care.
Then it doesn't matter.
No. Hold down. Let me explain why it matters. Because again, you came in here. That's why it matters.
Like in this room?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's why it matters. It matters because, again, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but your patent ignorance on history and what racism really is widespread.
It to me, I don't. It wouldn't be a thing that I would focus on in my life.
Of course not. Why would you?
Okay, so
you know what? You know what you just said.
Extra attitude that comes into it, though. That's the issue, right?
Okay, you know what you just said. What the scuba diver said to the fish. How do you deal with cold water? The fish said, "What water?" You have no idea.
Right.
You have no reason.
It's fine, but if that is the case, right? Isn't that the thing that's kind of flung us forward in the last 200 years?
No, it is not. No.
Okay.
So
oh my God.
Europe and North America aren't dominating right now globally?
No. Okay. If you call pushing the earth to mass distinction forward, if you call the raping of a planet forward, if you call squandering a 400-year free labor head start forward, then absolutely, I guess we're forward. I do not.
Okay.
I don't call it forward.
I'm good. I'm good with like deforestation and basically, colonization. I'm all for it.
Sure. Why wouldn't you be?
I don't know.
Exactly. Nobody's arguing you, Judge.
That's what I'm trying to figure out is where is the contention, right? Like that's what I don't get.
Okay, let me help you with the contention. I want you to bring up the name Bull Connor. I want you to, yes, Bull space Connor. I want you to bring up the name George Wallace.
I know George Wallace.
Okay, not the comedian.
Yeah, I didn't mean this comedian.
Okay, I want you to bring up the name David Duke. I want you to bring up the name Willie Lynch.
Yeah.
So that you are clear on where the contention comes from. I want you to look up black and white footage where people who look like you are standing next to people who look like me hanging from trees and they're smiling like they just caught a big fucking fish.
So is it the concept of like a lack of forgiveness of the past, or it's just we've moved forward to 2025, right? And some people sit back like 50 years ago and they're still upset about it.
Okay, well, here are those people.
Is that what it is?
No, it could be. It could be these people. It could be the people who, unlike the small hat people, are being told to get over their past when the Japanese who had a nuke dropped on them are not. When the people who went through what they went through in Germany from 1939 to 1945, what they went to, they are not. The Armenians are not. The Chinese are not. Those who made the railroads, and at the end of it, when they thought they would get paid, people who look like you massacred them. They're not over it.
Mm-hmm.
And no one is asked to get over building a country for free and then being told that they were less than. Fighting in every war this country has ever had while still being treated like third-class citizens or animals. The very fact that the Dred Scott decision has yet to be overturned. Those people, there are certain people like myself who have an axe to grind with that, but I don't have it to grind with you. I have it to grind with my own people because, in my opinion, most Black people are not upset. Most of us are not upset about what you did to us. They're upset because y'all don't love us yet.
Do you believe they should be?
Do you believe? No, I believe they should be resolved, and they should be connected, and they should work like the Amish.
Can you give me an example of what resolve would look like?
Here's what resolve looks like. It looks like this on Super Bowl Sunday. There's a coin toss, and then a kickoff, and then all of these beautiful brothers run to the 50-yard line, meet one another, hug, take one of them referee mics and say, we out, we starting our own shit, and leave. That is the crashing of an economy on that day. That's what it looks like. But you don't have to worry about that because so many Black people are so enamored with chasing the farts of white people. You don't have to worry about it because most Black people don't want shit till they see somebody white with it first.
Mr.
All of
Mr.
that,
Mr. J.
all of the, oh my
God. Wait, Jeff.
All of that is going to have to die. And it is right now. A great much of it is being, this is my belief, that Black people, and this is why I could not be happier with what Donald Trump is doing. Because most Black people aren't going to work together until they are cornered. And I am happy about this cornering because what it is doing, it is burning off those of us who aren't supposed, those of us who did not survive, those of us who cannot figure out that they're supposed to work together are about to perish in the next few years. And the only ones that will be left will be those who are capable, and not only capable in the mechanics or capable in ability, but capable of cooperating. Those are the only ones who will survive. So I am very happy that this is about to happen. As far as regular white people, I'll land the plane. As far as regular white people and anybody else who is not Black, I give you what this government gives when something bad happens. My thoughts and prayers. I'm Black first.
I don't know.
I see.
Yeah, wait, before you go, Ekene, do you have any retort there, Josh, while you're done? So I was going to put up the super chat and then you can go.
I get his premise or his desire, his goal is that he wants Black people to get together. I'd be curious as to like who's Black, who's not, right? Like, do you mean like the American Blacks?
You missed a lot of the essence of what he told you.
Yeah, but, I get. He wants everybody of the same skin tone to get together and work together, right? But this is a tall request. It's kind of like the same concept of like all white people are never going to pull this off, never have within our history, as best as I can tell. I get I understand.
Germany, 1939, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, they tried.
Oh, no. They were incredibly successful at it. Maybe not forever.
Well,
not forever, but they were incredibly successful at it. Maybe, I don't know if you are familiar with the story of the American Indian. Maybe if you watch one of my favorite shows, it's called Yellowstone. It's a great show where we're supposed to be compassionate for the extremely rich white rancher that's about to lose his land back to the Indians. Yeah. You may want to watch that. I don't know, to help you out with how your people have done so well. But yeah, maybe those things would bring you up to speed.
All right, let me read this super chat. Okay, Anton put another 10 spot on the line. The following countries are responsible for the colonization of the planet: Great Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, and Belgium. I rest my case. All those countries have one thing in common, right, Joshua? Anyway, so listen, Ekene, what you was gonna say, man?
Oh, Jeff, Uncle Jeff, you
Yes,
just said the same. You just said the same thing I said earlier
yes, I remember.
about. So I guess we're back on the same page.
Well,
Because
we
what
spend
I
a lot of time on the same page. It's just when we jump off, with black
okay,
folks is lazy and the
okay, I
racism and
got
that thing. The
okay,
common
I got you.
Nigerian issues I have.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
I
I
got
got you.
another.
No
I
problem.
got
No
another
problem.
question
But the
from.
reason why is the reason why. Oh, sorry about that, Mr.
Well, go
Penn. The
ahead.
reason why.
What's the reason?
The reason why I just want to comment is this. What you said about Trump is exactly what I said. I like what Trump is doing because with what he's doing, we have to wake up. We don't need all black people to wake up. Let me help you, Joshua. We don't need all black people to wake up. We only need about 5%. We need 5% black people that have the money, the clout, and the influence, because they have to have the money first. They have to have the money. They have to be billionaires. They have to create the jobs. But they have to also, just like the 1% of white people are committed to white power, we need those black people that are committed to black power. And the whole equation will balance. You see, China, it took the Chinese government to believe in their people, and then they create big-time billionaires. Those big-time billionaires then believed in China. That is why China crippled the U.S. hegemony. And today we have multipolar system. So that's what we need to do as black people. We need to also do the same thing. Believe in ourselves. Just 1% of us, 5% of us, to believe and grab that power. Because the problem is this: the reason why we don't have those black people in those kind of influences because most of them made their money through the white system. And because they made their money through the white system, they don't want to infuriate the white guys, their friends. They don't want to lose those friendships. They don't want to lose the guys that back them up. They don't want to lose those influence that help them. That's why they are acting stupid. It's not just in the US. When I speak about black people, I speak about black people worldwide.
Let's not go to Africa.
No, Mr. Penn, I'm coming because we have to tell the truth. Our people have to. I like the way it's happening in Africa today, and it's happening here. It's happening here too. Our people are now grabbing the bull by the horn. I love it. But we have to be loud about it. We also have to be discreet about it. We have to do it in any way that fits us. But it has to be done because guess what Trump is doing right now? Trump is showing us the white power to our face.
Okay,
with
so
no regard.
Let me just segue to this before we keep going because you mentioned Trump. That was my next question. Let's get into that. All right, so do you guys think what Trump is doing could benefit black folks and why, right? Some positive thoughts and negative thoughts in that question. Or is he just another stone cold racist? Or can both of those things be true?
But
go ahead, take that one first.
I'll say this. What he's doing is what y'all talking about. If it's only going to be 5% or 2%, so let's just say Trump is putting everything in the gray area. He's done what probably should have been done 25 years ago based off the contributions that we put in America. It's a scary time for us because we ain't working together like they did 40, 50 years ago. To some extent, the most strongest in ability of us, everybody trying to be separate, which is going to hurt all the women and the ugly kids y'all got, just to be facetious. So, and even in that small 1%, think outside the entertainment, athletes and all of that. Now, if the regular working people who've built their wealth, that small number, because the numbers still count, because you look at $100,000, brother, it's still 10%. You know what I'm saying? So do you think most brothers who are in that 1-2% bracket are willing to share with other brothers in that 1-2% bracket and their families, because it's going to take a collective to me. Now, I don't know. Listen, this is what I've seen from when I've done my travels and working in the cities. It's going to take, because the young men and the young women have to have a future. And ain't none of us old and just trying to make no babies. So what about the younger people who have the opportunity? And this is where I think they have to take advantage of America, because once they get through sorting it out, he's putting the American citizen first. So the American citizen, they want to get off their butt, take advantage of what they're going to offer. You will be okay. The ones that sit back and play welfare politics, you will struggle. Simple as that.
Oh my God. I'm trying to speak out of turn. First, I'll shout out to Angry Man with the disrespectful New York hoodie. I'm hating openly. Coach Bird. I don't even know where to. You basically are accidentally answering your own questions. Okay. One, you ask about the 1 or 2% and why the number is so small of us to work together. And then you talk about what is obviously the financial purge that is coming. Those two things answer themselves. Okay. Number two, something you said about, yes, the welfare class. The welfare class is what it has been since Dwight Eisenhower went into the Appalachians and saw poor white people. It's mostly poor white people.
I understand that.
It's just been painted with us.
Yeah, listen, I understand that, but I'm saying the ones who are in it. Now, again, most of us started from those positions and we worked our tail to get out of it. I'm saying for the people who have been in it for 15, 20 years, had 2 or 3 generations of young men and young women in this space, those days are numbered. Whether you want to, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, those days are over. You're right.
Those days are over. That's all. It's time for us to. So but it's going to take a unique mixture to make it happen.
I don't know how. Okay, yes. Okay, I'll give you unique, but those people you talking about, there are geniuses among them. There are artists among them that we ain't got to worry about no way, because this to me, most of these conversations are fantastic for 30 years ago. Those are for these. If we had a time machine and we could go back and really get people to see now, perhaps they would. But if you don't have a skill, if you do not have a self-starter initiative already moving, your ass is in the French fry grease. I don't care what color you are. It's just that there is a color of poverty that Black people have been painted with that just isn't so all the time. And that can be true while redlining is true, while being the Blacks being denied loans, Black Americans being denied loans that Nigerians come here and get is true. There's a lot of shit that can be true at the same time. And I'll say this and land the plane, because everybody here is smart. I say again, there's room for everybody to be right.
So Uncle Jeff, let me ask you this. The situations of today, were they similar to situations where you were a young man?
No.
Trying to figure it out?
No.
So the ones that were in that place, the ones that were in that place, because a lot of stuff is new since we've been grown men. So the ones that were in your place, and you saw it, and you can say, man, I can point to where I can see how we struggle.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is this, for you and brothers like yourself, there was no excuse despite those conditions, and you still move forward. Now we on the other end. I'm seeing a lot of young adults saying that it ain't gonna be no fix, it ain't gonna be no good, like they giving up on the fight. I'm saying we can't afford to fight and stop giving up on the fight, especially for the young brother. You cannot afford to give up on the fight.
Okay. If I may, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna shut up because Angry Man is here, and more than likely we disagree, which means I'm about to learn. In order for what you remind me of a good friend of Angry Man's. Shout out to Iz. He's the patron. Israel Mills is the patron saint of lost niggas. There is no, these people who are giving up the fight, you're gonna have to let them. You know why? Because in order to not let them, you are gonna rewrite the book of Revelation. You are going to rewrite the Apocrypha. You are going to rewrite Nostradamus' predictions. This shit's going down no matter how much you cry, no matter how much you like it. Dear brothers who have given up, then just backstroke in the French fry grease. That's it.
Before you guys go any further, I know Angry Man's here, but Jenny says she has to leave, so let her get her last little words in before she cuts out. It's all right. Good.
Well, it was really good talking to you all and hearing all the different perspectives. I'm glad that this was the show that I got to do. It was my first time coming back from maternity leave. And so hopefully I'll be able to be more consistent getting back to the Tuesday nights and hopefully at some point getting back to my Saturday show.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on that question with Trump before you go?
I think that Trump is doing stuff for the betterment of Americans. And if anyone is going to let something stand in the way of them, being an American first, if they're going to say, well, I'm not going to accept what he's doing because I'm a Democrat or because I'm Black or because of whatever reason they deem to be more important than them being an American, then they'll just kind of get steamrolled by their own mindset. And so I think that there's plenty of opportunity, kind of going back to what I was saying at the very beginning, that there's plenty of opportunity out there for anybody who's willing to reach out and grab it. And so at the end of the day, we were in chains for 400 years, but now you have to overcome the chains that are on your mind. And so if you open up your mind to it, then, it's up for the grabs. And so I think that, Trump is just a businessman. And if you have a business mindset, then he can help you too, no matter who you are.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks for coming back up. Yeah, we'll see you around. Good. Congrats again. All right, Jen.
See y'all.
Angry Man, what's going on, man?
What's up? I'm trying to get a feel for what the conversation is about.
The title where we talk about systemic racism. So we went through a whole bunch of things that you missed, and so we were saying that does systemic racism still exist, and are we just being victims? Then we went on to a lot of other discussions. And now you could just you could start with the question that's on the table. Trump. Do you think Trump is
doing could benefit Black folks, or is he just another stone cold? How is he? I'm still trying to figure out how Trump is a racist.
Well, I mean, this is not from the judgment. It's just a question.
I would love for somebody to explain to me what is it he does, whether overt or covert. What is he doing that is so racist?
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead, guys. Get into the conversation.
One, his unclear kind of watery denouncing of his allegiance to David Duke. Number two, and a place that we'll just never agree on, his stance on the Central Park Five and his timing. Number three, the utter shock that I would have to find that an 80-year-old billionaire made it to 80 and billions and white without racism. I don't know many who have, and maybe he's the only one, and he's brilliant. With regard to the other stuff that he's doing a lot of it's possible for a racist to have common sense. A lot of the stuff he's doing is plain old common sense, and I can't say that I disagree with it. I believe there should be a law passed that if you were born with faster twitch muscle fiber and deeper bone density and bigger muscles, that you shouldn't be competing against women. That's common sense. Putting tariffs on the shit that come in the way that they put on the shit that comes out is common sense. Can he be a common sense racist? I'll put my money on those chips. I swear to God, I'm not going to push my money in on an 80-year-old billionaire white man that's not a racist. I don't know many. If you can name 4 more.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there.
Sure.
The first thing that you said, what was the first thing that you said? The first thing that you said was the denouncing of David Duke.
Yeah.
There are literally countless videos of him flat out denouncing white supremacy, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, all of that shit, because they kept asking him over and over again. And the reason why is because they took that clip where he said very fine people, they cut it, and they played it over and over again. And the narrative that the media ran with was he wouldn't denounce white supremacists. But in that very clip, if you watch the entire thing, right after they cut it, he literally says, of course I denounce white supremacists. And he listed, he said it. And there's been numerous other interviews where they asked him the question. In fact, they've asked him so many times, he's gotten sick and tired of saying it over and over again.
Mm-hmm. So
this is an instance where the man is going to be racist because niggas want him to be racist. There's literally nothing. It's one of those moments where somebody says you're something, and the more you try to prove that you're not that, it's like more of an admission of guilt. You're pandering, right? Now, as far as the Central Park 5, I hate to bust your bubble, Uncle Jeff. Them niggas did that shit. They did that shit. All of them didn't assault the woman, but they played a role in it. They admitted, I didn't have sex with her, I just held her down. The documentary, the little docuseries that they put out on Netflix was full of lies. I've literally went back and looked at the footage. They claimed that the parents weren't there when they interrogated them and that they coerced them into saying that. That's a lie. The boys were there. Their parents were sitting right next to them when they were interviewing them. And the person that was actually asking them questions wasn't even really interrogating them, just asking them regular questions. Now, anybody that knows New York during that time period, teenagers would go down there to Central Park to beat people up and rob people. Now, do I think they went down there with the intention of sexually assaulting a woman? No. But they did go down there to do some shit they ain't had no business doing. Because first of all, teenagers ain't got no business in Central Park after dark in New York in the 80s. Now, what ended up happening is they ended up getting, I forgot what they call the sentence. They didn't get exonerated because a lot of them that were in that situation, they admitted to the part they played in it. They just didn't want to get in trouble for what the one dude did, which was assault the woman. But they admitted that they were down there doing stuff they didn't have no business. Now, when you look at the ad that Trump put in the paper, if you read the entire ad, at the very beginning of it, he said, it's a shame that nowadays families can't even go for a stroll through the park. And he said, Black families, white families, Asian families, Latin families can't go through the park. Now, from my position, it seemed like he was on some shit like he don't like criminals, regardless of what color or whatever they are. Because I don't know any racist that's going to sit there and say, well, it's a shame that black families can't walk through the park. Why would he put that in there? Now, you could say that he put it in there to try to avoid looking racist. You could make that argument. But me personally, I don't think he's racist. I think he gets the racist title for the simple fact that he's a rich white man. I think that's the only reason he gets the racist thing. And every time you see this man doing things that are not racist, that are actually the opposite of racist, you literally have black people losing their minds like, why is he doing that? It's a slap in the face. He shouldn't be doing that. He just had the freaking event down there at the White House that was for Black History Month and announced that he was they're gonna build statues to certain black figures or whatever. And you literally had Jamel Hill go on CNN and lose her mind talking about him celebrating Black History Month was a slap in the face. And I'm trying to figure out how this works. So when black people weren't invited into the White House or being able to go to the White House on a regular basis or be celebrated at the White House, we complained about that. Now that they're going down there, we're complaining about that. When black people that are historical figures were not being acknowledged with statues and commemorations, we complain about that. Now that they're being commemorated and getting statues, we're complaining about that. It's getting to the point where black people are so hung up on the struggle, so hung up on racism that we can't even enjoy a victory because we think there's some nefarious plot behind the victory. It's like I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like I've been looking at everything. Like I've literally been looking at everything he's been doing, and I've been trying my best to figure out what everyone's so upset about. We're the same. We're the same group of people. We're the same group of people that have been calling the government corrupt for I don't know how long. We're the same group of people that's been saying they've been mismanaging our money. They've been taking too many taxes from us. The moment the man starts doing something that's actually supposed to fix that problem, everybody has an issue with it. It's not making any sense.
Angry man. Before I respond to what you just said, I want Mr. Payne to put up that question again. Do you think what President Trump is doing could benefit black folks, or is
he's already done?
Is he just another stone cold racist?
He's already done.
For me, it's both. It's both, and I'll tell you why it's both. But I won't say cold racist. I'll say racist, or it gives a vibe of a racist. But what Trump is doing is very necessary. I've said it to many people. I've said it to everyone that I know that have asked me what do I think was my summation on this. And I've told every one of them what he's doing is very necessary. Number one, it awakens everyone. We can't be too comfortable. We've been comfortable for a long time. I became comfortable, but after Trump first time, I woke up. Not during his first time, but after it. I'm sorry. No, I'm heading somewhere, brother. I'm heading somewhere. After his first time.
You're not elaborating. You said it is racism, but you didn't
say let me say something real quick. Let me respond to that. When Trump, during his first time, when those racist things were going on, Trump did not condemn it. He said, You remember the South Carolina stuff that happened? That lady got killed?
The tiki torches?
Yes, he's
Yes.
talking about TV talk.
Yes.
He didn't what?
He said that the blame goes on both sides.
And then
Was
he
Trump,
condemned it right after
bro?
he.
Don't I have the
Yeah,
table to
you
talk?
gotta let him say because he mentioned that already. Yeah.
We can pull the video up right now.
I'm
Y'all
going to
got
comment on it. Don't
fam.
worry.
Hold on,
If you
fam.
give me time to talk, you're going to see where I'm headed
We
to.
can't go back on it. He didn't say what you're gonna say.
No. But I got a grant. I can go either direction, right, Mr. Payne, right? If I have the floor, I can go either direction, right?
No,
To be able to
yeah,
make
I don't want to
be able
waste
to
time.
make my
I
comment.
don't want to waste time on this thing. We already asked
Crazy,
now.
bro. You're literally sitting
Are
here.
we having a conversation or we're talking forward of
Have a
each other?
conversation if you're gonna say something that we know is not true.
You're literally sitting here.
Okay, it's not. But
Hey,
but if you guys let me talk, you see what I'm trying to say.
wait a second. You literally started the sentence out by saying when that thing in South Carolina happened the first time, soon as it happened, he didn't condemn it. That is a lie. In the press conference,
that is
he
not what I said. That is not
condemned.
what I said. That is not what I said.
Then what did you
I said
say?
his condemnation was that the blame goes on both sides.
No,
He
that's not what
condemned it,
I'm talking about.
but
That's
he
not.
also put the blame.
That's the clip they showed everybody. That's not what I'm talking about.
But I'm heading somewhere. If you let me finish, then I'll be able to speak so that way I can make sense. All these 2 minutes that we've talked and go back and forth, I could have finished what I was saying. But this is what I'm trying to say, Angry Man. What he said that is on both sides, right? But guess what? They took it out of context. I understand. I didn't get what he was saying until after his first term, because I was following the media soundbite, right? But after his first time, that was when it hit me.
You gotta hold up for a second. Alexis has to go. Alexis has to wait. Hold on. Alexis has to go. I want her to get the last word.
This right here is nigga shit. He's still like
fat. Angry Man, Alexis has to go. I want her to say her last words before she goes, and you'll pick up. Go ahead, Alexis.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming up.
Oh, no problem. Now I got nothing but love for you, baby. Hey, so can you put the question up again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because I feel like we got off on the racist part. I do think that what Donald Trump is doing is benefiting Black people and will help benefit Black people going. One thing, especially I like what Unc said about him, being old and a rich white man. However, I can see that based on the age. However, one thing about rich white people, they're more classes than they are races. Because what he's doing right now, they really thinking that it's affecting a lot of white people are up in roar because they think DEI means nothing but Black people for some reason. And it means way more than that. Just like with affirmative action, or not even affirmative action, I'll just go back to the amendments and how they slid in there. Everybody else, when it was Black people that went and marched for this, and all of a sudden they slid in Asians, and they slid in the gays, and then they slid in whoever. So, but what it all comes down to is that, yeah, rich white people, especially old, can be racist, but rich white people are more classes than that. And so you see that going on right now because of all who is affecting right now what he's doing. And there's a lot of Black people that are not being affected by it. There's a lot of Black people who went out there and pulled themselves up by the bootstrap, and they are not being affected by what he's doing right now. And a lot of them are in agreement with him. especially from what that last administration did. They were giving all them immigrants all this type of money and housing and all this type of stuff. And then there was people that been here and had to really pull themselves up by the bootstraps to where they made it into that fine little gray area to where they don't really qualify for anything, yet they don't make enough money to get anything really either. So they're not being affected by a lot of this stuff that he's doing. But at the end of the day, I like to know what it is head on. When I lived up on the East Coast for a little bit, I had encountered some people that were different. And me growing up and becoming a young woman, and there's people that like they do some grimy stuff, but you mess with them because they have other good personality or traits. But then there's that one part you just know, like, I ain't about to go here with this because they on some other stuff. And so I appreciate knowing who my people are, even if Donald Trump is racist. At least I can see it. And I know how to maneuver, and I know how to take things. And because at the end of the day, all the stuff he putting out ain't saying, oh, well, if you're black, then no. So whatever he putting out there and it's going to help me, I'm going to take it. Shout out to 47. But look, it's Black History Month. Like I said, I love my black people all day, every day.
All right.
Shout out to Malcolm X. And God made Texas first, then everywhere else. Y'all have a great night.
Take it easy. All right. Thank you.
They stole it.
All right. So, we're worried. we're worried. Listen,
I don't think we should be worried at all.
No, not worried. So we're worried.
Okay.
Anyway, listen, Ekene, I hear what you said. Angry Man, I don't know if you still have anything on that point. I think the point is made. You can't go back to the tiki torch shit because in full context, you can't use that against Trump unless you just want to. You know what I'm saying? So we got to move past that one.
I got a lot more to add to that because it's funny to me. It's funny to me that black people got really short memories. Okay, because number one, everything that you've seen them do to Donald Trump is what they used to do to niggas. The same complex, the same machine that they used to paint black men in a negative light is the same system they used to paint Donald Trump as a racist. It's right there in front of your face, plain to see. For this dude, first of all, in order for you to understand that this dude is obviously different on some level, is the fact that he is a white billionaire. And look how they treated him. That is not by accident. They don't treat white billionaires like that, especially if they became president. They don't do that at all. This is some unprecedented shit. So number one, Negroes forget that in the 90s, in the early 2000s, basically before Trump became president, the media wouldn't even admit that racism and white supremacy existed.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even admit it. But then all of a sudden he gets elected and he's the most racist dude on the planet. What about the other 44 presidents? So none of them were racist. But he's the one. Out of all of them, he's the dictator. Like, it's mind-boggling when you sit, look, being a black man in America, knowing how America has been, you can see when they running game. You can see it. If you're a black man, you should be able to see it. If they would have, let me tell you something. What they're doing right now, what they did to him in that first term and in the 4 years after that, where they went after him for everything, right? Let's be real. if Donald Trump was this evil, corrupt individual that everybody keeps saying that he is, right? Why is it you got mobsters saying we could never get in Donald Trump's pockets? Saying flat out, in New York, we couldn't get nowhere near him because he would hire ex-FBI agents for his security and shit like that. And they knew that if they went and tried to muscle him, because let's be real, he's in the construction business in New York. Now let me ask you this, R-Pain. Have you ever seen anybody be in the construction business in New York and not had to deal with the mob?
No, that was part of it. You go next, Jeff, when he's finished. No, I agree. Go ahead, Jeff. You can answer that. Go ahead.
You got that. That's one thing, right? And let's be real. Donald Trump has never, as far as New York politicians have never liked Donald Trump. Never. What's the mayor's name? David Koch. Okay. Was it Koch or it was Koch or Dink? I can't remember which one it was, but one of them hated his guts. Like, despised him. You feel what I'm saying? But this is back when everybody else liked him.
Yeah.
Right? So you have that. You have him being investigated by the full force of the United States government. They did not want this man back in office, and mainly because he's not part of the club. He's not part of the politician club. So they threw everything at him. They threw the DOJ at him, the freaking FBI at him. They threw all of these things at him. And you mean to tell me that out of all of his business dealings, the only thing you could come up with was, oh, he paid off Stormy Daniels and classified it as a legal expense, or oh, he overvalued his Mar-a-Lago property, or oh, he sent a different set of electors to certify the election. Those are the only three things they could come up with a billionaire. Now, unless you're gonna tell me that it's part of some nefarious plot and it's all just an act. They just put him through all of this just as some covert act. That would be a really interesting theory. But what I'm looking at, and based on my logic, they did not want him in there. They did everything in their power to stop him from being in there, and now we know why. When we're looking at what's going on, we know why they didn't want him on there, because of what he's doing right now. Now, here's the thing, Uncle Jeff. What she said before she left, I didn't necessarily agree with that. When she said that most rich businessmen are classist and not racist, I don't agree with that. There are a lot of rich businessmen that are extremely racist. You feel what I'm saying? And I can't prove definitively that Donald Trump is not racist. I can't prove that shit. And that's the reason why is because that's the way racism works. It's elusive to the point where it's hard to prove it. So I'm not going to fight you on whether or not he's racist. All I'm going to say is I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. And I can spot a racist.
Good, Jeff. You got something on that?
A few things. Number one of your questions answers itself. How did Donald Trump keep the mob out of his pockets? Number one, Donald Trump kept an aging, narking, crumbling mob out of his pockets with the FBI. That's how you do that.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. They were on the decline. I'll give you that.
Number two, when you say all of his business dealings, are you counting Trump Airlines that went bankrupt, or Trump Steaks that went bankrupt, or Trump the Game that went bankrupt, or any of the other stuff I'd have to Google to look smart?
But the thing about that, and just, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but the thing about that.
Oh, you're doing it.
Yeah, but I just got to address it because, I got ADHD. I got to say it when I'm thinking.
Oh, God, bro. Come on, man. I'll let you go ahead.
My only thing with that is I'm trying to point out the nefarious stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like
I was getting to that next.
Go ahead.
My blood cousin, as in my mother's brother's son, lost his glass business because he was putting he used to brag about it for a minute, about the fact that he was in business with a bigger company that was in business with Donald Trump, when his business model was this: everybody's heard half up front, half when the job is done. What Donald Trump would do, which is what he did to my cousin's business, my cousin was subcontracted to work with the business that put the glass up in Trump Tower. It was a $12 million contract. Trump gave $6 million up front. And when they put up all the glass, he didn't pay the other $6 million. He told them to sue him and get it. And what he did was he bankrupted the LLC he was doing business under. This is a Trump formula. That's corrupt.
Hey, look.
And yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about that, Uncle Jeff. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's right.
No, I didn't say whether you said it's right. You asked for examples of his corruptness.
You gave me an example. But see, here's the thing, though. And I got to point this out. You're pointing out corruption from what we as Black people deem corrupt. But what he just did was white business.
Yeah, he followed the law.
I just know he did not. I disagree. Are you trying to tell me?
They don't do that all the time?
That's why he filed bankruptcy, for to do that.
Y'all talking about
I'm just saying he did that quite often. He filed bankruptcy instead of paying the debt. That's all he did. That's what people do. It was wrong. Yeah, it was wrong. Morally, yeah. Ethically, business ethics, yeah, it was wrong. And the fact that he did it too. So
it's like, look, it's like when he did
what I'm hearing.
My bad. Go. No, I'm not saying. See, that's the thing, Uncle Jeff. I'm not saying that it's right ethically. What I'm saying is, in America, there are a lot of things that businessmen at that level do that's not ethical, but they find the loopholes to do it. So I'm not saying it's not wrong. I'm not taking that from you. I'm just saying that's typical white.
Okay, what's the matter, Uncle Jeff? What's the matter, Jeff?
I don't know. I just don't get it. For a second, I could have swore a few minutes ago that this man was upstanding in his business dealings, and that he was, and that there was. I don't know, and I'm hearing I'm gonna get these checked out because
I saw the 180 ton by an angry man. He turned 180.
Studio headphones to have, apparently. Okay, stealing. Thank you, Ronald at Indian Lake. Stealing is not a loophole. Okay, angry man. No. This is great news. This is great news. Hold on, angry man. My turn. This is great news. I am glad to hear that and I would never do this, but I am glad to hear that if I get into business with you and I tell you to invest $1 million and that I'm going to give you back 2, and when it's time for me to give you the 2, that I bankrupt the business, that's just business. Whenever you hear it's just business, the little man, exactly. No, you're not going to sue me. You're going to sue the LLC that I do business with you with.
That's right.
And that you're not going to touch me, brother. Because it's okay. Wow. I mean, sat here quiet while all you brothers was talking. Didn't say a fucking word. I am glad to hear this, angry man, that I'm gonna order $1 million worth of Angry Man's book, which, by the way, y'all need to read. So and I'm gonna give you $500,000 up front. Sell the books and don't give you the other $500,000, and it's just business. Well, when you hear it's just business, that means that the little guy just got fucked over. And it just so happened that one of those little guys was my first cousin who lost his house.
And that's not right. I said it wasn't right.
Well, no, bro. No, you said it. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Cosby Show. Y'all remember the one where Theo hired the stripper? and Lisa Bonet got mad at her husband because he said, no, you didn't. He said, I said no. No, you didn't. You said no. This is the same shit. Well, it's the exact same shit. Well, and okay, I'm willing to bow out. Donald Trump's great. You guys keep talking.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Well, at least now I know why you don't like him.
Now, there we go.
Here's the thing. To that person that put up there, stealing is not a loophole.
It's not.
To the Negro that put that up there. Let me ask the brothers up here a question. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask R. Payne, and I'm going to ask Coach Ferg, and I'm going to ask Uncle Jeff. When was the last time any one of you was in a car accident?
It's been years, but yeah, I haven't.
It's been years, right?
20 years.
Right?
A few.
It's been a few years.
I'd have been in a few car accidents. I'd have cut some cars up.
Okay, it's been a few years, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you still pay car insurance?
Of course. Of course.
So you're literally paying money for something that you rarely use.
Well, yeah. I do that because I don't have a choice. It's the law.
But guess what? That also can be considered stealing.
Oh, well, okay. No. Here's your problem with that.
Well, what's the problem with it?
The problem clearly is that nobody pays for insurance under the guise that they're going to get something other than their policy covered. It becomes stealing when the insurance company finds a loophole to not give you your money.
Exactly.
No, technically, when a government makes it a law that you have to pay for something that you pay for electricity, but you use electricity every month.
Sure.
Okay. You're paying for insurance, but you could be a person that gets an insurance policy at 18, pay for that insurance policy until you're 40 and never been in a car accident.
Okay.
Never mind.
I'm pleased because I have absolutely no idea what that has to do with stealing $10 million worth of women.
Insurance is not stealing. Insurance is not stealing because I got to tell you what it's not stealing.
What it has to do with is this is white business.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I'm saying to you. This is white business. Business is structured in a way where everything is contracts and legalese and all of this shit. And I don't care what nobody say. Insurance companies charging you a premium every single month, and you leave that insurance company and you never got in an accident, you should get every last dime of your money back.
And you are absolutely right. I just don't have, and yes, you are exactly right. And not unlike the interior appointments to the 1949 Chrysler Eisenhower parade car, I don't have a fucking idea what that has to do with this.
It has everything to do with it.
Well, help me out.
I gotta say this, angry man. Having insurance is very good to have an insurance, but what you got to say that I got to agree to is this, right? The premium is just outrageous. That's the only thing I can say. It's good, it's necessary to have insurance, but the price we pay for the insurance is outrageous. That's it.
It's legalized stealing. It's
legalized stealing.
To make.
Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, let me say this to you. Angry man, let me say this real quick.
Let me make my point because Uncle Jeff is still trying to figure out what my point is.
I sure am.
The point that I made while we were discussing it is when you said, well, he didn't pay the other amount of money and said, sue me and get it, right?
Yeah.
I said, that is white business 101. But this whole concept of car insurance is also white business 101. It's the point I'm trying to make, that yes, there's a lot of shit that is done in business that just ain't right or ethical, but they still do it.
That is 100% correct. How about you?
I just
Jeff?
don't know what this.
Jeff is only arguing the coloration. The coloration.
No,
That's
you
what
know
Jeff is
what?
arguing.
I stand accused. I stand corrected. Let me correct myself. I did not know him to be this this patriot that we can stand behind before tonight. And I'm gonna call my cousin and see if I can get him to see it this way, since he finally got a house about 8 years ago. I'm gonna see if he or the scores of other individuals that Donald Trump formulaically screwed over. I'm sorry. I'm really going to. I aspire to elevate my mind to see Donald Trump the way you do, Angry Man. I just don't right now.
No,
and
the
it
thing
could
is,
be my,
hold on, everybody, hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Hey,
man, I've been here for hours. I can't even get 1 minute of statement.
Oh, you've had plenty of minutes. Let me get out the way. I'm in the way.
Hey, are you there, Braxton? What's going on, man? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. You got anything to say on the topic before we go to the next thing? Because I think we hit this one big. We can't even see you with your banner there, man. You got
well,
you got anything to say, brother?
Well, nothing much. Not right now.
He's just hanging out. That's cool.
Yo, the same way. I don't see why you don't see it this way, because you're literally describing every billionaire on the planet.
I'm not making it.
You're literally describing every billionaire on the planet. And here's the other thing, right? The same way, Uncle Jeff, that you think it's ridiculous that I think insurance companies is legalized stealing.
I didn't say that.
Okay, my bad.
I don't know where the disconnect is. I believe it was me who said that I don't know of any non-racist 80-year-old white billionaires. I believe it was me who said, whenever you hear it's just business, the little guy just got fucked. I don't know. The disconnect is somehow that Donald Trump's formula of I'll give you half and then you sue me for the rest that's the way the cookie crumbles. Okay, I guess I got a lot to learn. I guess.
No, what I'm saying is it wasn't right that he did that, but that is typical white people business.
And I don't know what part of that you think. Maybe it's the Manhattan being sold for $24. Maybe it's I don't know what part of that makes you think that I don't understand that, or that I don't or that I disagree with you about that. What I'm trying to say is how just because it's business, I'm gonna separate him from the rest of these people, and I don't. That's the difference. It feels almost, and I could be wrong. You're right. I could be wrong. I'm working with a Chicago high school public education from the 80s and Mythbusters, so I could possibly be incorrect, but it sounds like you're trying to separate him somehow.
I think we should land it there. I think we should land it there, man. I don't think we're gonna get to any resolution on this one. I just don't. I think we're gonna just keep going back and forth. I do have another question on the table just to move the conversation forward, because I agree with you, Jeff. But I understand where Angry from, but we don't have to make those connections.
Sure.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, let's move on to this next question if we can. Now, we know we're in a post-DEI era, right? We talked about we've skirted it. But how do you think we're going to fare when all this shit goes away? And the other thing I should have asked was, isn't it black people who made us to face the DEI? with the Sharptons and the race baiting and all that kind of stuff. The fact that it's going away and it's only a black face and black people screaming about it, and so there's two parts to that, right? Doesn't it make it seem like every black person who got a good job, or some people could insinuate that they got it because of DEI, and I think that's worse than anything else. So how are we going to fit in this post-DEI era, and is it a good thing? Because we don't benefit from this shit as much as people think we do anyway. Anybody can go first.
Well, I'll go. Boy, did you bite off a whole bunch. The thing about Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, isn't it us who made this? No.
I didn't say Jesse Jackson, but I know we don't. Go ahead.
I was just putting all of the untrustworthy Jasper ass shade tree house coons together. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, this narrative that DEI and welfare and all of that was put on us by a media that they didn't own. Of course, he was who they put out front. But if it wasn't him, it'd have been another Jasper ass shade tree house coon. So I think that point is I don't know why you brought that up.
I don't think it's intuitively obvious to everybody, but maybe like to you it is. But for the most part, when we hear people in the media talk about DEI and they put a bullhorn in front of somebody protesting that is going away, it's usually a black face, and a lot of time a black female face.
Well, sure. Well.
Doesn't that cause them? Let me finish that. Doesn't that kind of project the image that it was only to our benefit that we had it in the first place because they used black faces to defend it?
Well, what about the show Good Times? Well, what about Claudine?
Okay.
Again, welfare and food stamps by default made it to black people. It wasn't for them. It was for the poor, ignorant, illiterate white people in the Appalachians. It has never ever been. Black people make up 13% of this nation. It is never the drain. If you took the drain on this economy and who did it out, you would be taking, number one, a great many of the immigrants that Donald Trump is throwing out, and poor, ignorant white women. Those are the two biggest drains on this system. But you don't see those in movies. You don't see it in television. That too. It's very simple. There are more poor, ignorant, illiterate white people in this country than there are black people, period. And anybody here in the chat or will watch this later, if I'm wrong, so is Google. You'll look it up. It's not that hard to look up. There are 300 million people in this country. If 30 million of them were the only ones on welfare, that's only 10%. And that's all of us. That's everybody on this show. That's everybody you know on this show that know how to do the electric slide and don't put raisins in potato salad. That's all of us. That's not who it is. We have been painted with the face of it.
That's right.
So right. Brother Jeff, based on what you're saying then, and as I bring it back to us, because, we talking about everybody who's moving forward. If we get a bad rap in that sense, right, and we, which if I'm hearing you say, most black people don't move the way that they try to portray us in the media or whatever. Mm-hmm. So how could not everybody, most people be a part of the move forward?
How could not everybody? Because here's how. Not everybody is ever a part of the move forward. As a matter of fact, in human history, could you pick out a group of people that everybody, pick out 3 groups of people I'll give you the Amish. Pick out two more groups of people.
But I'm talking about.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. I'll give you the Mormons. I'll give you the Amish and the Mormons. Now pick out a third group where everybody moves forward.
But this is what I'm saying though. This is a future. That's moving forward for us is a space that we never seem to have taken advantage of. And we all understand the systemic issues that have been plaguing us. And now we on cruise control. It ain't even really, whether we black or white, we're on cruise control with it.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, I would think it would behoove us, whether we 25 to 55, 65, to sort of find some common ground. Hey, listen, I'm going to say amongst the men, because everybody ain't a leader in the truth. It needs to be some hardworking soldiers that are willing to put in the work, because we on the other side.
Bird,
I'm just saying, man.
The point you're making, I'm sorry, I hate to bust your bubble,
man,
but the book of Revelations already made your point.
Well,
Nostradamus has already made your point. The Apocrypha has already made your point. It is going to be exactly them, and it ain't going to be everybody, because it never is. Those very men you're discussing. The problem is, you have the same problem that my brother Israel Mills had, that I call Noah's disease. Noah watched and listened to some of his best friends drown.
Yeah.
And you want to open the door to the ark to save everybody, and all it's going to do is drown you, your family, and the animals.
No.
This movement you are discussing. This movement you are discussing is happening as we speak. I know plenty of brothers, that are moving forward, but they are in the vast minority. Most of us. Well, but this, I don't know who you.
But a lot of brothers, Uncle Jeff, you got to understand, a lot of brothers ain't found their ground yet,
and they're not going to. It's too late. It's too late.
But you can't say that, because
well, I'm not saying it. Revelations is saying it. The Apocrypha is saying it. Nostradamus said it. I'm not saying it.
I understand that, but
the Book of the Dead says it.
But we all have friends and people that we know who have.
And some of them are going to die first.
Yes, some of them are.
Most of. Let me press your bubble for you right here and right now, and so we can get this out the way.
I'm not gonna stop.
These niggas you are begging for, or that you are talking about, we got to save.
No, I'm not saying that.
Brother. Well, I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you what it looked like. And it looked like you are, if 100,000 of us are what is going to move forward. It looked like you want 110,000 of us to move forward, or 105,000 of us to move forward, or 103,000 of us to move forward. And the very bad news, Ferg, don't anchor yourself to the number. I don't have a crystal ball. I was using those numbers as averages. If you need to average higher, play with the numbers in your own head. But the point is, no, you can't possibly, because you keep talking about, you can't. Because you keep talking about who you are going to save. And I am telling you, Ferg, that the bus has pulled off. If you are not.
But Uncle Jeff, first of all, Ferg, you got to save who you can save. And the rest you can't save. That's it.
But here's the point y'all missing. Y'all think I'm saying go out and save. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in this time, we're supposed to have all this modern knowledge. They shit on the history of whatever people went through. They shit on whatever. This is the greatest time for any individual, man, woman, whatever, to figure that shit out, because at some point, listen, they have to be willing to put in the work. This is to move forward. You have to be willing to do it. Don't expect me. Don't expect Uncle Jeff, Angry Man, Egan Man. Don't expect none of us to work with you unless you're working for yourself. And if you don't do it as a man, you're gonna age out whenever. You're gonna be
Coach, you're correct. You're correct. Wait, hold on. No, you're correct, but it's still save who you can save, because everybody who listened to what you just said still going to be in the minority of the people who are going to actually do something about it.
Thank you. This wonderful big number. The number is small. If I'm wrong, the Bible's wrong. If the Bible's wrong, the Apocrypha's wrong. If the Apocrypha's wrong, the Egyptian Book of the Dead and Nostradamus, all these people are wrong about agenda. Look, Henry Kissinger was wrong when he said that we need to get rid of 2/3 of the Earth's population, and here's the plan, and it's in full effect. All of that has to be wrong in order for you to save one soul.
So let's just give about a number that you said, 100,000, right?
No, let's not, because I told you I know. Let's use your number.
Let's use my number, right? Yes. If it's 35, 40 million of us, right? Yeah. You can take so, and I would, as far as age, I think it's sort of even across the board, whether it's men, women, child, all of that, as far as the numbers, right? But the total amount is 35 million, right? So 17 and 18 or whatever, however you want to flip it, right? Males to females, they outnumber. So give them 1 million, $1.5 million to 2 million, right? So what I'm hearing is, if we're looking at that small number, and if the women outnumber us, and we know throughout history and all of that, that they take the women before they take the men, so the men would not survive because they're going to conquer more women than they would men. I don't know. So I'm just saying it has to be a point where you as an individual, not saying you, but young people still want to believe that they can make it to the end.
There's a whole show full of wrong in that, but I'm not. You win, sir. You win. I'm wrong. You are. I'm wrong. You win.
Who wants to go next, man?
Come on, man. How y'all gonna give up on the young kids? Y'all wild to
giving up on them, man. No, listen, nobody's really giving up on them. The truth of the matter is, in the best of all worlds, right? The only people who are gonna bite the apple are the ones who want to bite the apple. I mean, that's just the way shit has been forever, man.
Hey,
and then but go ahead. Anybody who wants to go next, go ahead, man.
Hey, Coach Furry. I don't know if y'all ever watched this. There's this show called Sandman, right?
Yeah,
it's based on a comic, right? And so this dude is like sort of like the god of dreams or some shit like that, right? And so he has to go to hell because something that belonged to him was in hell. So he gets into this battle with Lucifer. And basically the way the battle work is they say they're something and then they transform into that. So he'll say like Lucifer say, I'm a viper stinging with poison or whatever. And then he'll say, well, I'm an eagle. And he become an eagle and he's fighting the freaking snake. And then he'll say, Lucifer will say something different. Like I'm a disease. Right. And then the hawk will start dying. Right. And then he'll say, so they kept going back and forth. Right. And they finally got to, he said that he was a universe. Right. And then Lucifer was like, well, I'm oblivion, destroying universes or whatever. And so it's like, he's trying to figure out what he could say. And the last thing he said that defeated Lucifer, he said, I am hope. And what you're trying to do, and I get it, you're trying to have hope. You feel what I'm saying? And look, I'm not even gonna front. It is admirable. I get why Uncle Jeff is trying to tell you to not have hope. Which is crazy. That's nasty work. But I get why you're trying to have hope. You feel what I'm saying? I get it.
Well, hope is, you're right. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up. I believe hope is for shitty planners. All the losers, I know hope. All the winners, I know plan.
I do have to say this. Angry Man, that sister who played Death was one of the finest chocolate sisters I've ever seen on screen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's a movie or a series?
It's a series on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool series if you can get past the fruity stuff in there.
Yes.
Okay, never mind. I'm good.
Yeah, it was based off an old comic book. That's all.
Yeah.
Hey, so yeah, but yeah, I hope that's a good one, Angry Man, because
I seen that. Ain't none of y'all ninjas ever been coaches, huh? Y'all like hell with them kids. Come on.
Keep alive, man.
No, ain't nobody said.
Again, let's get to the brass tacks. So basically, everything that we're saying is, I'm telling black folks, with all the shit that's going on right now, if you have the drive and the initiative to get to where you got to go, we're going to be just fine. I think we've been through a whole lot worse than whatever Donald Trump is doing. Matter of fact, if he raises the ships he's trying to raise, we're going to benefit from it.
No, the only thing that's the problem right now is with what Donald Trump is trying to do. The only problem that's gonna arise, because the tariffs that he's put on China, it's already got Apple planning on investing, like, I want to say, I forgot how many billions, 50 billion, 500 billion, I can't remember. 500 billion to have facilities over here. As you start to see more manufacturing be in the US, the problem is the people of today don't have the skills they need to work in those industries. Yep. That's where the problem is coming in. The problem right now is not really a problem of industry as much as it's a problem with the workforce. You have a workforce that doesn't have the skills. In fact, there's a lot of jobs out here right now that are lacking when it comes to people working those jobs, but most people don't know about those jobs, much less have the skills for those jobs. So that's the problem. The workforce has to be reinvigorated.
Yeah, it's got to be updated.
To me, the only way they're going to be able to do it is they would have to do the same thing they did back in the day, where high school was vocational. Exactly. That's the only way they're going to be able to do it. You're going to have to teach. You're going to have those vocational classes to teach the kids and give them the idea of, because nowadays you got too many people that's too invested in college. Want to go to college, right? When really you should also have those vocational programs for people that don't have the money to go to college or don't want to go to college, and they can come out of high school and have a skill and be able to go into the workforce. That's going to be the biggest problem, and that's a huge problem with us folks, like not having the skills we need for certain jobs and shit.
Okay, before you go forward, you could go ahead, but I want to show you this chart that's up here. This is the chart of investment that's coming up that Trump already is working on, right? And then you mentioned the one with Apple, it's up here, and all the other things that he had going on. Is in the first 100 days, these are the kind of commitments he already set up for. And for a lot of that stuff, the question is, is the American population going to be prepared to take advantage of this thing?
Now, see,
new money coming in.
Now, look, just to show Uncle Jeff that I know the state of mind Uncle Jeff is in, right? Uncle Jeff, you correct me if I'm wrong. When you see this, you're probably thinking this is playing the music while the Titanic is sinking.
Brother. Brother, we are on the Titanic post iceberg, argued about where the deck chairs go. It is my opinion, like I said before the election, if Trump wins, buckle up for the Handmaid's Tale. If Kamala wins, start working on your Mandarin. I really believe it. I don't see. I don't. In order for me to be wrong, then when Rome fell, I guess that's history we shouldn't learn from. I don't.
Yeah, but see the thing about it, historically, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Historically, the reason why you have these cultures falling, it's not necessarily because of like this situation. It's not necessarily because of Trump. Like that rot was already there.
Sure.
That rot was already there from the moment that we stopped prioritizing family and male leadership. That pretty much sealed the deal right there. The moment we got to the point where we start entertaining fantasies as reality, where you got grown men sitting on shows screaming at another man because he said that a biological male was not a female. When you got that type of stuff going on, it is what it is, man. Like every civilization, the moment it starts going into that type of territory, I don't think any civilization has went this far with it, but every time it goes into that territory where you start having sexual liberation and sexual freedom and you get rid of monogamy and all of those different things, that usually spells the end of that particular society.
Yeah, I gotta say something real quick about Trump. I saw what you put up, Mr. Penn. Mr. Penn, if you guys can go back to 2008, in 2006, and 17, when Trump won election, what did he promise us? He promised us infrastructure. And infrastructure was coming up in Congress every month for 4 years, and no single infrastructural bill was passed. But guess what? No, let me finish, Mr. Angry Man. You gotta
Go
let
ahead.
me.
Just go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is, for every month, infrastructural bill was coming up in Congress. Trump never did anything about it. It never passed, but they set up a committee and everything.
Yeah, that's why I tried to interrupt you, because I knew you would say some bullshit.
Task cut. That's fine. That's fine. Let me say my bullshit. Task cut was discussed once, and it was passed in Congress, and he signed it into law real quick for the billionaires, right? For the millionaires and billionaires, right? And people that have a job. I benefit from the tax cut, I'm not gonna lie. But let me also say this. Trump this time promised us all the jobs that will come. Got Saudi Arabia to say that they're gonna bring $600 and something billion worth of investment that I know Saudi doesn't even have any production company to make that happen. Check this out. Saudi Arabia doesn't produce shit. So are they going to bring 600 billion from what? Oil and gas? The only thing Saudi Arabia does is only oil and gas. They sell it to people. They don't produce. I'm coming now, Mr. You know what? I'm done talking because Mr. Payne, you always want to interrupt me when I'm talking, and Angry Man will never let me talk.
I don't do anything. I'm just saying. You say they don't have any. Listen,
you don't make sense.
I didn't stop you from talking. I'm just saying, man.
No, don't stop me from talking. Don't stop me from talking.
Okay, just
if it doesn't make sense, that's fine. But don't stop me from talking. I never interrupt any of you guys from talking.
I ain't interrupting you.
You know what? You guys go ahead and talk. I'm done talking.
Okay. Woo. I'm glad to hear that, because anytime you say that Saudi Arabia, when they got they got people. I don't know how much time you've spent over there, but I spent a little time. And I happen to know some people who who have families that make $50 million an hour.
Got that bag over there.
From what? What are they?
Oil.
Okay, what did I just say? You guys don't listen. I said Saudi Arabia doesn't have manufacturing. All they have is oil production.
So that means that they can't invest.
So that means they cannot bring 50. What are they bringing $500 billion to do in the US? US already have oil and gas.
Okay, here's why. Because the US, I'd like to answer that. No, the US has plenty.
Plenty. That's what I'm saying. Okay. US doesn't need their oil and gas.
Okay, no.
We have a lot here.
Ekene, here's the answer if you'd like it. In order to get the oil and gas that this country needs to get rid of Saudi Arabia, the words "drill, baby, drill"
I know that
come into mind.
I know that.
So the infrastructure needed to be destroyed in order to match what Saudi Arabia brings over here. Is the issue with saying that Saudi Arabia Why would they invest over here? Why wouldn't they? They already
No, no,
do.
no. That is not what it is. Trump is bragging that Saudi Arabia is going to bring $500 billion into United States. And my question to Trump is this: what $500 billion in manufacturing or in oil and gas? They already bring in oil and gas here
Okay,
already.
no. Okay,
they're not going to be able to build a
I'd like
refinery
to
here.
answer that. I'd like to
Go ahead.
answer that. They're not bringing oil and gas here in investment. They're bringing the profits from the oil and gas that they sell to the earth here, and they can
They
spend
already
that.
have that here. Okay, guess what, Mr. Jeff? Let me tell you this. Saudi Arabia who has over $600 billion in U.S. reserve of profit that that comment that you just made right now is already here. Saudi Arabia has $600 billion in Federal Reserve. They have it already. So you're asking them, you're telling them that they're going to invest another $600 billion, bring it to
$2 trillion.
$1.2 trillion, right? But guess
Why?
what?
I don't
That
know
is not what Trump is saying. What Trump is saying is, and I agree with you on that. What Trump is saying is this, right? That they're going to create jobs of what $600 billion. That is not going to happen.
Can I add to
I'm going to say this so that I can land the plane. All these companies that you're saying that are making promises like Apple, this is where you remember we discussed business 2 weeks ago, right? This is what I'm going to tell folks in terms of business because that is my field. Apple will not be able to create $500 billion worth of jobs in the US. And I will tell you why. This is why, because this is math problem right here. If Apple create $500 billion worth of investment in the US, Apple has to make profit, right? American labor is not cheap compared to what Apple is making today. For Apple to meet its promise, its profit volume, in order to satisfy its investors, right? Apple has to pay that $3, $4, $5, right? To the people that make the cell phone, it has to make it. But if it comes to America, it has to now pay $25 minimum hourly rate. That means Apple cell phone has to go from $1,600 to about $4,500 per cell phone. Who is going to pay that? And let me say this again. I've said it in different shows. I've discussed this with American. No. I've discussed this. No. I'm coming. I will land.
plane?
And I will say this last, and then you guys can have the mic. This is what I discussed with an American business guy. This guy is a very wealthy guy. We have this conversation, and this is what I told him. I said to him, only 25% of American consumers can afford made in America. The rest cannot afford made in America.
What in America? Oh, made in America. Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
so
only 25% can afford made in America.
So first of all, in Trump's first administration, where he was talking about infrastructure, you don't know what you're talking about. Number one, Trump can't just unilaterally do certain things outside of an executive order. And I don't know if you know or not, but when Trump was in office the first time, there was opposition all around him. There's a lot of shit he was trying to do that he couldn't get done because of the Mitch McConnells and the Chuck Schumers and all of those individuals. You don't know what you're talking about, Akene. And then here's another thing that really annoys the crap out of me. What annoys the crap out of me is when people from other countries lecture us about this country when we don't get to lecture you about your country.
Okay, this is where this conversation ends with me. Let me put this real quick because this is bullshit. I've lived in this country for 22 years. I get to say economic part of this country because it affects me. Okay?
Shit.
I can say it however I want. I have job. I have a company in this country, couple of them, and it affects me. You see what I'm saying? And what I got to say to you is this. When you start creating jobs, then you talk these talks because I do. And it affects me. I've not worked for anybody in 10 years. I run payroll. It affects me, okay? And what I got to say to you is this. Mitch McConnell did not stop Trump from creating infrastructure. Trump did not want to do it because guess what? He had the Senate and he had the House, and that's the same thing. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't give a damn about Joe Biden, but he did it with the same thing Trump had.
Let me stop you. First of all, Kenny, I don't give a crispity fuck how many jobs you create. That's number one, okay? Because if you really want to be honest about it, until the people of your country start talking about giving us some damn reparations for selling the majority of us into slavery, I don't give a damn how many jobs you create, brother.
And guess what? My people that sold people into slavery, they don't know the story of how it happened. Because one day, you and I are going to sit down. Angry Man, I will come to your show and I will educate you what happened, because you do not know what happened. My people didn't sell anybody into slavery. This is what happened. My aunties, my uncles, my ancestors, my great-great-great-grandfathers, children were stolen and sold into slavery. So you're talking about no. Let me finish, because you guys have been you say this all the time, and I got to stop you, because you do not know that when people were sold into slavery, there were people out there that were crying that their children were stolen from them. My great grandfather was stolen and sold into slavery. If you don't know that, he escaped.
Hold on for a second. First
No,
of
so
all,
you don't play that card, brother. Because my ancestors cry over their children that were sold. Some people died waiting for their children to come home, to come back home. You don't know that.
If in fact, number one, if no one sold anyone into slavery, then why the hell is West Africa issuing apologies for it? That's number
Guess
one.
what? West African is not issuing apology for it.
Hold on.
Let me tell you this. No, the West African is even asking for the reparation to be paid to them for their children that were sold into slavery. It was their children that were sold into slavery.
This is filibustering right here. So number one,
I'm not saying filibustering because you don't know the story. You don't know the story, man. It's somebody's child that was sold.
I do know.
It may have been your uncle, but it was somebody's child in Africa.
I can let him finish saying so you can go back. Go back and forth.
That's what happens when you're telling the truth. When you're telling the truth, people talk over you.
But you've been cutting me off for the past 3 hours.
Let him finish, man.
Go ahead and talk.
Whenever you telling the truth, niggas will talk over you so that the truth can't be heard. Number one, if that never happened, then why do you got countries in West Africa issuing apologies to Americans? And number two, if in fact we were stolen instead of sold, then why the hell haven't we been given reparations for being stole? It don't matter. Stole, sold, don't matter.
It matters.
It does.
Okay. And if you want us to have that conversation, we can have that conversation on why it matters. You know why it matters? You know why it matters? Because I'll tell you why it matters. My great-grandmother was in her house, sent her 4 kids to go to the stream to fetch water. No, her 3 kids to go to the stream to fetch water. Mojeku, Okafor, and Igwagu. They went to fetch water. And guess what happened? Igwagu never came back from the stream. And my great-grandmother cried all night, cried every day for 4 years. And one day, she was right out there sitting on a bench with her husband talking, and this guy, 6'4", dark skin, rolling back, tired. And she cried to God and gave our ancestors glory that her last son came home. But guess what? Millions of African mothers. I'm coming. Let me finish because I've got to say this. Millions of African mothers over 400 years. Millions of them didn't have that luck.
Akene, you need to understand something, and this is what you need to understand. You have a country, which means I don't give a shit.
Guess what? I don't care if you give a shit.
You have a country, you have a language, you have a culture, you have a lineage that you can trace back with no problem, which means I don't give a shit about none of that, bro. I don't care about any of that. I really don't. The issue that I have is there's always a brother from Africa giving us lectures about America, and we can never give y'all lectures about Africa.
That's a pure lie.
Okay.
That's
So guys,
not a lie.
Guys, if I could just
You
jump
can
in.
lecture me about Africa as much, and I will accept it. Africans take that lecture every day.
Guys, I think I got something that might help.
What's that?
I did a simple Google, and here's the AI overview. While there hasn't been a single unified West Africa issuing a formal apology, several leaders from West African nations have recently expressed regret and apologized for their ancestors' roles in the transatlantic slave trade, acknowledging the part played by local African chiefs in capturing and selling their own people to European slave traders. This is most notably seen in statements made by Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, who has publicly apologized on behalf of Africa for its involvement in the slave trade.
Mr. Jeff, you know what you just read right now? I really appreciate. I would say thank you so much for reading it. You know why I say thank you for reading it? Because
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out.
Yeah. If Angry Man is gonna be straightforward, invite me to your program and we will see that, and I will tell you how slave trade happened. When you say Africans, you gotta be able to say it right. African chiefs, I will name names and I will tell you towns, even towns in Nigeria, the most two prominent towns in Nigeria that participated in the slave trade. That's why I told you that millions.
Wait, Ekene. I don't know if it's just you or it's just me, but I'm gonna ask the panel, does it sound like Ekene is agreeing with Angry Man right now? Was it me?
No.
Like
We're saying two different things.
Other side.
No, we're saying two different things. Angry Man is blaming Africa, and I want him to blame Africa, blame the chiefs that did this. I've said it in many panels.
All right, good night. That's enough. I've had enough. I can't take any more of this shit.
Yeah, that is why I said, if you want to speak about this Angry Man and you want to really get the in-depth of how this thing happened, we got to talk about it. And I will tell you how it happened, how this slave trade thing happened, so that way you can be educated about it.
Just cut out.
It's just like me. I'm coming, Mr. Penn. It's just like me coming here blaming all Black people in America for something that the elites may have done, or blaming all white people for something that the elites did or are doing. I can't do that. I can't do that. I should be able to separate the bad guys from the good guys.
Yeah. To the rest of y'all. Yeah. Do you think when I made that statement, I was stipulating that it was the African people and not their leadership? Is that what y'all genuinely thought?
No.
That's what I got. My response is because that's what I got.
How would the people have the authority to do that? Of course, I'm talking about the leadership.
And guess what? When you say, because you never use the word leadership, if you have said that the African leaders, you guys should let somebody be able to.
Here's the thing, though. When you speak of how you speak, when you say the man over here, you don't distinguish whether it's the leadership or the regular man, too.
And guess what happened? When people hold me on that,
but
I would gladly distinguish.
No, we understand that you mean the leadership, though, man. Somebody's got to, we know the rank and file African wasn't in charge of the slave trade. Come on, man.
This is
Guess what?
This is crazy. You made it seem. This is what you said specifically, and anybody can rewind the tape. When I said what I said about reparations for selling a lot of the Black people that are here into slavery, you said they weren't sold. You said they were stolen. That's what you said. And now
That's exactly what I said.
Now you're saying that the Chiefs participated in it after Uncle Jeff Googled
No,
it. Now here's the thing.
the chief didn't participate. They stole people and sold it to the white folks.
Speaking,
the thing is this, right? And this is another thing that y'all do that is really annoying. Stop acting like we're not educated. Stop acting like we don't know the history of Africa. Like, stop doing that, bro. I know what happened over there.
No, I'm not doing it. You're insinuating, because when I was speaking, this is why I got angry. Because you guys have to let me express how I feel about this. This is why I got angry. Because when I was speaking, you made it feel, you put it to me, to my face, that we sold you guys and we came here trying to tell you bullshit. That's what you said. You said, you guys sold us. You didn't say that African chiefs did that. Because if you had said that African chiefs, your chiefs did this, your chief did that, then I would have been like, fine. No, you didn't say that. You said us. Then I had to tell you, no, my great-grandmother sat on that chair in that compound and cried for 4 years. Then Mr. Jeff, when I brought up what he brought up, you see what I'm saying? Because if you didn't say you guys by pointing at me, then I wouldn't have, if you had said African chiefs, I would have been like, you're right about that.
Kene, check this out, Kene. Check this out. I said you guys because that is the continent that you're from. Okay? That's the continent you're from. So, of course, I'm going to say you guys. That's just generally speaking. But you're like, this whole thing that you're trying to do, you're really talking to the wrong person, because I don't care about none of that shit, bruh. I really don't care about none of that shit. The point that I'm trying to make, and the point that I made, is that there's some shit that was done that played a pivotal role in the bullshit that we deal with over here right now.
Sure.
Okay? So the fact that we're having a discussion about systemic racism, and then you have someone from the continent, you feel me, that still has language, still has all of that, and giving us a lecture about the bullshit that we gotta go through over here, even though you've lived over here. Your experience is not the same experience as ours. I hate to tell you, but it's not. It's not totally the same experience. You feel me? Now, as far as you talking about the people, I'm not putting it on all the people of Africa. That doesn't even make sense. There's too many people in Africa.
And Grandma, you're not the only one that have done that. Almost every African American that I know that have said the same thing you said, I've always said, you Africans, you sold us. This is not the first time, man.
All right, okay, man.
From the very first day I stepped my foot in this country, I've had people even say on this show, told me that we sold them. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
We're going over the same thing again, all right? We got to move on. I do have, we're going to end the show. We're going to end the show soon, but I do have one thing I want to ask everybody that's off this particular topic. And I just want to get some quick opinions, and then we gotta get out of here. All right, listen. Here's my impression of why women, especially feminists and especially black women, hate Donald Trump. And I want to question, why do you guys think it? I have my own opinion, but why do you think they have this uncanny hatred for Donald Trump in general? Just from the women's perspective, the way they see him and view him and the way they talk on TV. Anybody want to go first?
Because he represents masculinity. He represents masculinity, and he represents patriarchy, and that is a threat to them. That's why.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead. Absolutely. Do you guys agree, Coach? What? You agree with Angry Man? I agree. I agree, Angry Man.
What was the question again? I didn't hear it.
So you ain't paying attention.
No, I didn't hear it.
Why do you think feminists hate Donald Trump so much?
I mean,
and black women especially.
I mean, like I said, man, this is a unique space, and the days of the feminist ideology is pretty much on the decline. Because
why do you think they hate Donald Trump?
Because he's holding every American accountable. He's bringing hard work to the forefront. He's already said he's putting America first. We live in America. We're part of that America first. and it's bringing, he's sort of doing away with having your hand out. You're going to have to show that you actually are working to earn your stake in your future. And that's where a lot of people are getting scared at, because think about it, we've been under the welfare committee for a long time, and those days are sort of over. So
angry man split. But the truth of the matter is, he answered the question. It's because they're intimidated by a guy who exudes masculinity. He's a masculine man.
Yes and no.
No. He's a masculine man. He's an antithesis, whatever that word is, of what feminists and especially black women are used to. He's unapologetically a man, and that shit burns them to their soul. That's why they hate him. That's one of the reasons why they hate him, because they try to use this shit that he's a criminal and he's this and that. That's bullshit, right? Especially from black women. They can't say that because half of them have babies by the worst criminals in the world. So
it's man to feel the same way, and it's
no. But we're talking. The question is about women, though.
So most of the men that are feminists too.
Yeah, but because he's a man, most of those feminist men, they bend and bow out to the matriarch.
And the days of taking shortcuts is over in America, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying I want to get more specific. That's a general term.
I mean, okay, so even with that, like we seen that over, I don't know, it's been really rampant since 2000, right? We talk about everybody ain't gonna be able to make it. Most people that won't make it are the people who is not willing to change their trajectory of their life by putting in the work, like you say, earning their keep. Our pain is all I'm saying, and it applies to both male and female. In our
specifically talking about the Donald Trump era. Now we're not talking about 2020. We're talking about
what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He's wiping all of that ideology away, and it's an ugly space to be in. He's the president that's willing to stand up to that. And
from your perspective, that is true, but that could be anybody wiping that away, right?
Yeah, it could. But he's the president
specifically, because his first term he wasn't wiping it away,
right? Because he didn't understand the game. Now,
but that's the point. Is they hated him as much back then as they do now.
Yes, but again,
so yeah, but it wasn't because he had all this stuff. He didn't implement all this stuff that he's doing now.
No,
but they hated him because he's a man.
Yeah, but he's a masculine man. Not that he's a masculine man. I mean,
because he's a masculine man. That's why
he understands the business of America. He understands that.
Well, there's women who understand the business.
There's been some masculine presidents in office before Trump.
Not like Trump.
Yes, it has.
They all cater to women.
But Trump.
That's why the women run stuff. This guy's unapologetically male, and they can't stand that shit. That's what
America first. When all things settled, he's going to have the best women.
Well, there's a lot of women who like America first. I'm talking about Donald Trump.
But even with Donald Trump, he's going to put women in some positions too when it all settles.
Feminists and black women don't. It's not like they don't believe in America. Some of them don't. But they hate him specifically. It ain't just because he's doing these things.
Because he's not putting but he's not putting their voice first. And that's the thing. He's not putting the female voice first.
Because he's a man.
Right.
He doesn't kowtow to the matriarchal bullshit. He doesn't listen to their boo-boo whining and crying.
Or the
you have your opinion. That's cool.
No, I'm just saying he doesn't cater to the old politics that we've been under either. And
whining and crying to women.
So
I think
bullshit. Go ahead.
I think black women are just being emotional about Trump. Like I said, Trump, there are many good things that he's doing. There are things that he's doing now that should have been done 20, 30 years ago.
Okay, we can only talk about what's going on now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I said there are things he's doing now that should have been done many years ago. But they were kicking it down the road. Nobody wanted to touch it. But he's doing it. It's good for the system. But another thing again is this, right? Black women are the black women that are reacting.
She ain't shocked because he's a man.
Black women that are reacting due to emotions and what they've been told, the news, the fear mongering, and all this. At the end of the day, one thing that I know is this, right? This will benefit us.
Us meaning
benefit the community. Huh?
Yeah. You mean us meaning Americans?
Yes, especially Black Americans. It's going to benefit us because I got to say this, right? DEI. Let me comment about DEI real quick so I can land the plane. DEI didn't benefit Black women that much. It did push them forward. It was horrible for Black men, but actually it was white people that benefited off of DEI. It was white people that benefited off of affirmative action. Because guess what? It was them that mostly didn't have the qualification for what they got. And now that the DEI is off, the affirmative action is off, do you think they're going to use it to hire the white guys? No, they're going to use something else to keep hiring white people. Because as long as they are concerned, whatever program that they put in place, they will always use it against us, and against Black people here. Even if it was made for Black people, they will always use it against Black people.
Yeah, they did. All right, so, okay. Braxton, you got anything to say? You're just up here hanging out, man. You know, tell Coach Ferg that he's only half right.
Yes, I'm only half right up here. That's all it takes. Go ahead, Braxton, man. What you got, man?
What you got, Braxton? What you got, brother?
Yeah, well, I say that then, and particularly for the Black feminists, I say that the reason why they're so turned and burnt, I say, about Trump is because he's literally the rosary to their vampire. He's the only one for right now who's the ultimate threat to their long-standing strong and independence, because as y'all said, he's cutting back all the food stamps and the WIC welfare and any type of other governmental assistance, that they've been living off of since what's in between the mid 60s to early mid 1970s. So that's like a 50. That's that's a 56, 57, plus year, raid they've been on, and I'm just glad it's finally I'm just glad it's finally. Happening.
You know what somebody said, Braxton? They said now that he's going to take away Section 8, he's going to take away all the shit you just said, and he's kind of what Coach Ferg was talking about. They're going to want to start to fall in love with men again.
Well, if they don't, they don't.
It's not a bad thing, though. That's probably be one of the best things that happened to us over the last 30 years.
We should reject all of that. I'm married.
Stop it. No, you can't say that. No, and it ain't gonna happen. So y'all better listen. Listen, man. I don't know what.
I don't know. Fall in love. You looking good. They're gonna say you looking good, my man.
I don't think most of us believe. Listen, you can't tease them on that. You can't tease them. You can't tease them on that.
Yeah, but I gotta go to sleep, guys. I gotta be up in
okay, man. Listen, go ahead, man. Finish the same.
I'm gonna say this before you go, man. Shave that shit off, man. Shave it off, man. Shave it. Go ahead and get that dome clean, man. Not your beard. That right there. Let that go. That's over. That's over. Let that go, man. Listen.
God, man.
It doesn't
make my signature, man.
No, ain't no signature, man. Ain't no signature, man.
You can't write us a signature. That's all it's left. Final thoughts, gentlemen. Final thoughts, man. What y'all got?
And I'll make this my final thoughts, man. Listen, man. This is a great time, man, for the brother, man. We've been on women's heels a while, but right now, for a young brother who ain't figured it out, now's the time to figure it out, man. The Olympics will be here in 4 years. America's going to do a lot of changing in the next 4 years. I would take advantage of getting in places where you can position yourself to make the most money you can and do it legitimately. Don't do a Donald Trump business and have to file bankruptcy. Do it legitimately. Create good product. Pay up when it's time to pay. And do everything ethically. Do it the righteous way. You cannot afford to be worried about what the government is doing and what the women are doing and da-da-da. You have to focus on yourself and take advantage of the time right now. And understand this, even in the written word, it says to find a wife is not easy. It is not easy. I don't want to hear no Christian guys talking about one Christian, but then you don't even understand that you might have to dig in the trash for 2 years because your mind ain't ready. You might have to go out, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to dig, you're gonna be searching for in some rough places.
Yeah, maybe.
But you can't say that it ain't. Go through that time, but you have to focus on building your kingdom, your house with a picket fence before a woman even shows up. Don't compete against no female. Compete against other men like Ikene and Arpain and brothers around the world. That's how you build. Forget the women. Get in good shape. Show up in good shape. Show up with good hygiene. Those things pay big dividend even when you're trying to do business.
Oh yeah.
So you figure it out. That's all I got, man. Great show.
All right. Go ahead, Braxton. Let Ekene get his last word because I got all morning. I'll be like here till 6 o'clock in the morning. But
Yeah.
I want to bullshit, Ekene. Go ahead, Braxton. You got final words?
Yeah, my final word is this, right?
I was gonna let you go last, man. I was gonna let you go last, Ekene. You want to go last? Go ahead, Braxton.
Oh, okay. Well, my final thoughts are mostly of what Mr. R. Payne said, because I say if your life was already some type of way before a politician of whichever party had got into office, that's just on you. No Democrat, Republican, or any other politician in whichever party is going to make your life any more harder or easier than it already was previously. If you want to be doing better, want things to do better for you, then you're going to have to start doing better for your own self first. Get into the position that you've always wanted to be in, that you dreamed in. Imagine yourself in, put in the work and the consistency and improvise to get to that goal of which you want. So do not look for no politician to make, I don't know, to even make like right now with inflation like they can try their best to bring down the levels of inflation, but still that's not all on them. There are other factors that causes for inflation. That is not all on the fault of a politician. So just get your own self right, focus on you, do the work, and you'll get there. And don't give up on whatever you choose to do. And that's pretty much it.
Go ahead, Ekene.
Yeah. So what I gotta say is that the Joy Reid thing is crazy, but I think she deserves what she got because even though she's very, very talented, but she kind of mess up a whole lot of things. So what she planted is what she reaped. Then when it comes to what I said about Trump, Trump to me is doing the necessary thing. It has racial connotation to what he's doing, but at the end of the day, it's a wake up call to every black people on earth and also black people in America. The era of relying on white corporation to create the job is over. They're still going to create a job because they're still going to have to sell to black folks, because if black people are not making money, we're not going to be buying stuff, right? But if we're making money, we're going to buy stuff. But we have to now start creating stuff, start owning stuff, start being influential. Yes, the World Cup is coming. The Olympic is coming 2 years after that. So next year, up on the next 2 3 years, it's going to be very, very busy time, very good time to make a lot of money. But you got to start creating things. You can't rely on these folks no more. So, it's a bad thing, but it's a very, very good thing at the end of the day.
Well,
I'm glad he's the president.
I hear you. Listen, gentlemen, thanks for, it was a long live, man. This is longer than I think we expected it to be. Thanks for coming up, Ekene. We had some back and forth, but I think that the topic is good. And it's not over. We're going to have many discussions. Anybody go back through this, my show on Monday, I have 4 episodes of Black Folks After DEI, and each one of them has a different theme. So anytime you want to go see the replay, you can go back through the inventory on this channel and go rewatch that. And other than that, listen, I think it's a good time to be an American, period. I know that we're still wrestling with everything starts and ends with our skin color in America, but I think we need to see that and get past it. And getting past it doesn't mean you don't love being black, right? Because I think we're much, much more than just the color of our skin. And I think sometimes we need to realize that. And, as we do better, we bring the people we can along with us. And that's all we can do. That's the best you can ask for. If you can help some other people, one person at a time, but they got to want to be helped. That's what I have to say, gentlemen. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to be out of here. Boy, later.